Hello.
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 How
Hello,
are you?
shiners.
I don't have a name for my viewers yet. What should I call them?
I don't know. Yours is, oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. What is it? Exotropic, Esoterica. So what could we? You got,
Esotericos.
yeah. Oh, I kind of like that. Yes. Okay.
Good good thing this is
Esoterica.
recording. Good thing is this is recording. I don't have to write that down. Underlay. Well, I just wanted to start before we get into everything. I just want to say, how's everything going so far? How's your year going?
The year is going pretty much okay. Right now with the energies that's going on, we're kind of going up and down. We really kind of still getting over the energies from 2018, which is spilling over into now 2019. I kind of pretty much have seen in a lot of videos that they're saying that we're kind of finishing up those energies, we're kind of wrapping it up. And so, according to Elizabeth Lunn, she said we have 20 days to get our, I was about to say shit, but get our stuff together. And so then up until the 20th, after that, it's like it's a lock, and then we got to kind of deal with some other things. So I kind of feel that. I don't really almost feel like it's the new year yet. How about you?
Well, that's interesting. That's interesting about the 20 days to get our stuff together. I would say that to be honest, I would say I'm sort of having a really good 2019 so far. I am feeling some moments of the universe is showing me cords that need to be cut and things that need to be, that I personally need to release in terms of like specific types of connections to people and places and things and patterns. But it's happening in a way that's been pretty much mostly enjoyable. And the things that I'm cutting are being replaced with better things. So like, right, to be quite honest, 2019 is like a 3-year,
Right.
And it's like thus far, I feel like I'm in the 3 of Cups energy. You know what I mean? Like this real celebratory so far. Like this sort of like renewal. So I'm vibing in that pretty well, and I'm definitely in the process of getting my stuff together. Like I've sort of been setting my intentions for a successful year, and I've been working very diligently on laying the foundation for that. So that's kind of where I am.
That's where you are. Yeah. No, I'm pretty much dealing with that. But then also I said about the physical things, like the adjustments, the changes, like all of a sudden. And even some of my subscribers have said the same thing. They were doing all right. And then like, wham, my back hurt, that this had hurt, and all this stuff started appearing out of nowhere. Like I hadn't had stomach issues in a while. So when I went to Patricia, she had told me that pretty much what was going on was that. My feminine colon was kind of making a transformation, and so I'm kind of going into higher levels now. So I think we really feel that as the feminine, especially like when I did my reading last night. It's a lot of us is throwing up the deuces at the Divine Masculine. It's a lot. You can feel that very heavily in there. Some of us, we kind of holding on by our fingernails and say, I'm gonna hold on to this journey, but some of us are kind of at that point that's saying, okay, I haven't forgotten about the journey. I got it like there on the sideline, but right now it's kind of like I'm driving and it's in my rear view mirror. It's like, there it is, see that Divine Masculine, and I'm driving. So that's pretty much what's going on with a lot of divine feminines, I feel, collectively right now at this point.
Well, that's cool.
So yeah, so that's pretty much where I'm at on that part. I'm trying to see anything. And the Divine Masculines, yesterday I did with the reading too. I seen that they had the heart is opening up with them too. Have you even also felt that as well with the Divine Masculine? Something's going on with them. Have you sensed that?
Yeah. I feel a heart awakening, and also just like third eye awakenings. Like I feel like they're coming into better, like more they're grounding some awareness, and some things are shifting from them, and some of us are being shielded. Like I talked to Patricia yesterday, and she mentioned this as well, and I'm kind of feeling the reality of it, is that some of us are being shielded from their process because they're going through some of them are waking up in a way where if they're the type that are like kicking and screaming and clinging to the carpet in the process of waking up, then it's maybe getting a little rough for them. So we're being sort of like energetically shielded from that so that we can continue in our forward momentum. So that could be why some people are feeling the throwing up the deuces energy. Me, myself, and I'm actually falling, we're staying in 3D separation, but like energetically we're getting closer and closer. And it's like I feel very in love. Like I just feel like crazy in love, but like in a very happy way. And just like releasing my theme for the year, and I'm going to make a separate video on this, but my mantra that I've been focusing on is staying in the union thought stream, just recognizing that like we've got enough twins who have come into union now that the trail has been blazed. So there's a thought stream that everyone can tap into that is like the sequence of thoughts that give us the momentum toward union. So every day I'm meditating on that, like to be in the union thought stream.
Yeah. And that's what I've even told even my subscribers to do that. We got to kind of start gravitating, start reading. I mean, just really get faithful to really getting your mindset in that way of thinking. And get selective about the things that you listen to as well. You can't listen to everything kind of garbage. It helps to kind of really feed into that fear. I've even found myself, some readers, you might have even as well, and found out I can't even listen to them anymore because I'm like, no, you feeding into the wrong thing. I got to feed into selectively get ones that are really talking about union as well. So, so I'm in 100% about that. I've been telling my subscribers that for the longest of time for them to be able to do that as well. So did you want to get into the reading, or you want to talk some more?
Well, yeah, I think we should get into it, but if you want to give a quick little introduction about the idea.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know, because I feel like Oprah Winfrey and Michelle Obama. Their conversations into becoming me in 2019 is what we call. And so, this is my idea. So, you all on my channel, you all hear me all the time talk about Sean, my bestie twin. That I'm saying I share things with them and everything. And so I was like, you know what? We need to get together, combine both these energies and help our twin souls, our Unisouls on this journey as far as helping them to know what they are to expect in 2019. So this is one way in which we're together. We have our own. He has his style. I have my style. Sometimes a lot of times we connect and we say, oh yeah, that's the same. And sometimes we have different views and aspects. But at the same time, somewhere in the middle, like I said, it's like a jigsaw puzzle. It's the big overall picture of how God or the universe wants to see where this journey is supposed to get. And it's also help him also with his end on his channel that you all with Exotropic, Esoterica, seeing his videos also as well, where I don't claim that I'm kind of his versus he is on his stuff, on the getting deep into it. I kind of tell it from a more practical, everyday kind of way that we can kind of understand. And he gets really deep and detailed that I'm sitting there like a student, like, what? Okay, we need what also? And then we need to do this. So that's why I said, where I kind of feel, and I got the little gaps there. Sean comes right in there and fills in the gap and say, okay, now this is the symbolism. This is why the universe is sending this. This is why you're doing that. So I said, let's put both our energies together, become that dynamic duo of power.
I feel that.
Together to make sure that we can make sure we get you all prepared and ready for 2019. Anything you want to add on Chatty Catty? So what else did you?
Well, we fill in each other's gaps. That's a mutual dynamic.
Right, that's a mutual. That's just how the Unisouls supposed to work out too. They're your divine masculine, divine feminine. Those energies where you're weak and they're strong, and you're supposed to work together. So we're doing also a kind of example of how that would work out as well too, with us doing our readings as well. So, okay, throwing it over there to you. I'm kind of think. So, what's the first thing you want us to kind of jive on and get together as far as doing first?
Well, we had, I got the list right here that we made together. So.
Okay, all right, okay. You know my mind, because I remember the 1 minute I forget the next, and plus I'm about to open up this door because I'm hot as you know what.
Okay, by all means. Okay, so the first thing that we had talked about is what are the intentions, and for 2019. So the way I interpreted that is like what are the intentions that the universe has for us for 2019? Does that sound right?
This intention card, so we could do that. I did it a little bit even on my channel, but energies change, they shift every day, moment to moment, second to second. So what might have been it then might not be it now. I forgot to bring out my other ones. I knew it was something else I forgot on that one. Okay, so all right, I'm gonna shuffle it up. Oh, wait a second, something came out of, ooh, Lord, a flipper. Okay, all right then. So we're doing overall energies for the intentions for both the divine feminine and the divine masculine, or are we doing separate for divine masculine and divine feminine?
I'm just doing it for all twins.
Okay, gotcha.
You can do it how if you've got a different way you'd like to do it.
Oh, there it is. Oh, and you just mentioned about that. Okay, I'm gonna do it that way, and then we could chime in together. What else I got there? Okay, and that's his. Okay, feminine's first and divine masculine. Okay, since I was chatty catty first, you could go on. And then okay.
Okay. Well, I used two decks. I used the Jesus deck and the Peace Oracle. So from the Jesus deck, I got with God all things are possible, and nothing shall be impossible unto you. So it's like two cards that are like well within the same theme, coming from that deck, and obviously I think that this is about our manifestation power, and 2019 is meant to teach us more about our limitlessness. Like we're meant to sort of step more into our greater divine potential, and we're going to be releasing a lot of false limitations that cloud our mind and therefore our energy field and hold us back from being everything that we're meant to be here on the planet. And then the card that came out from the Peace Oracle is strategy. So while we're becoming more limitless, we're going to learn how to apply it, in a way that is, and I think this is manyfold, maybe threefold, since 2019 is a 3-year, but we're going to learn how to apply our manifestation power toward our limitlessness, toward manifesting our unions. We're going to learn how to apply it toward creating the life that we want for ourselves. And I think we're going to start collectively coming together to reshape the energy of the planet so that we sort of steer things back in the direction that we want it to go in.
Okay, and that's funny. The cards that I picked out, I will almost say they're almost like the strategy that you were talking about. It's almost like the clarifier. So I got the overall energy for that would be, where have you found peace? So the overall intentions is to let go. So that would be a strategy that would back up what you just said there. So we need to find ways, what makes us peace, especially with this year being a 3-year, we're concentrating more so on self. And so it's like really, being selfish and saying, okay, now what makes peaceful for me and how can I radiate that out? The other thing we have is gratitude. So what or who are you grateful for? So that's another key strategy that I would say that is you whistle while you work. So while you're doing that and you're working on your Unisoul thing, my thing would be for you to find ways in which you're grateful for things that's happening to you in your environment. And then the last one that was for the, sorry, so this one was for the divine feminine. This is something that she specifically needs to work on, being grateful. And I can understand that as a divine feminine. Sometimes we're looking fast forward, like, you know, why is he not here? What's going on? And we're not really taking time to smell the roses and say what we're grateful for right then and there. So I would say also with love here, how do you show love to others? That was for the divine masculine. So this is something that he needs to be working with over 2019. Not even for yourself. It starts with him, and then it's got to radiate out as well. So it's a lot of starting with self. I really feel very strongly, and finding out how you could just be just like the sun. How can you take that and take that energy and filtrate it outside yourself into your world, to your affairs, and then, like you said, into the universe. So that's what I got for your intentions for that.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So I'm definitely in agreement with you. You gave the overall sense what they could do. And to me, this gave the strategy. So we got to work on letting go. We got to have gratitude, and we got to have love. That's the main three things. Wasn't that in the Bible where it say, over most all things, love? So those are the three things that you got to really concentrate, according to what I see as far as your intentions for this year. Okay.
Yeah, I think all those are elements that make us more limitless. You know, we let go, we let go into limitlessness because it's about releasing the human nature for the divine nature. You know what I mean?
Right. And these are the ways for you to do it, especially when say your peace, let go. I mean, you have to get that peace that passes beyond all understanding, especially on this journey. You're gonna be like, you're like, say, okay, I gotta center myself, and that's kind of hard for you to get grounded when everything you like in the center of a storm and things are happening, and your divine masculine is whatever doing his remediation partner or karmic, and you gotta say, I gotta stay centered still. That's a little hard.
That's it, and you know, and the triggers are gonna come any way they can, right?
There you go. Most definitely, yeah.
And every way they can. So the next thing that we had was purpose. What is the purpose of 2019? Is there something you want to say that distinguishes that from intentions?
What distinguishes that as far as the intentions to me would be like your objective or your power behind what you're doing. When you're talking about purpose, we're still talking about, to me, the work that you're doing in the universe. I mean, why are you here? The big question. Why am I here? What am I doing? What am I supposed to be doing? So when we're talking about the purpose, that's what we're saying, because like I said in my other video, I was surprised to understand that, you know, a lot of us is being in this twin soul journey that don't know, and it's not really emphasized. We keep on concentrating on the romance part of it. It's like, okay, it's like a romance, and it's going to be like the soap opera. And then you're like, no, you know, your main thing is to know, do your mission and your purpose. So really finding out what's your purpose is going to help to kind of spearhead everything else in your world and in your environment. So that's what we're doing as far as when we're saying, what is your purpose? What is your purpose for 2019? What should you be really concentrating on? Divine feminines and divine masculines. On that one. Okay.
Sounds good to me.
Shuffle on my end. Let's see what comes up. We're going to do divine. Let's switch it up. I don't know why here lately. I just want to say divine masculine, you go first. Divine feminine in the back. Divine masculine, you up front. Okay. Oh, that's interesting. I might need you to help me on that one. And divine feminine. Okay. Interesting. Life's purposes. Okay. Interesting. Okay, let me kind of think on this a little bit.
Okay. Okay, I got it. You want me to talk while you're thinking?
Yeah, you can talk. I think I got it, but you're gone.
Okay, I use the Journey of Love deck and the Angel Prayers deck. And so I'm not going to break it down. You know, I tend not to break it down between divine masculine and feminine because I think we're all merging, you know.
But that is true, yeah.
But so the first thing that came out is simplicity. So the way I interpret this is that we're all learning how to focus on like the small and the simple, and really appreciate and be grateful for like the day to day and the moment to moment. Like we're meant to be decluttering our lives. You know, we're meant to sort of like become a little bit more minimalistic in terms of not being as attached to the things that plague our energy field and suck up our time, because we need to be making room for more abundance and more of love, you know, and be making room for each other. So this is about, we're meant to adopt the purpose of like making things more simple for ourselves. The next one that came out was Woman of Light. And I think that's very clear. Like we're meant to, we're sometimes like sometimes we get focused on, like you said, when we get focused on trying to be overly fixated on the love or the relationship or whatever, we're less focused on shining our light in the world. And I think many readings lately have been beckoning us toward more service and more mission, you know, more like being out in the world and shining the light. And sort of like asserting our positions in the world as those beacons of light. And then from the Angel Prayers deck, honor your beauty. So this is about self-love, and this is also about, it kind of goes with the last card in terms of honoring your beauty, and that you allow your beauty to be a force of good in the world, and your beauty becomes indistinguishable from the light that you shine. And then express your creativity. So this is about, many of us are called toward being creators, but we're meant to sort of like create in terms of being in our mission, and especially for those of us who have a traditionally creative mission, but we're also about expressing our creativity in terms of the way that we want to create our lives and co-create the world. So
okay.
That's what I said.
Funny, and that's funny that you had said that, because for the divine masculine self, I was saying, if we split ourselves, it has the card I have, which is music, which is your connection to music is healing for yourself and others, which brings into what you're talking about, the creativity. So I know one of the cards, they're always talking about the symphony, always trying to find a symphony, unfinished symphony. And so I think this year for the divine masculine, you're really trying to find out how to, number one, I'm picking up and saying, is how to make your own music. That's number one. And number two, how you can become a duo where I play the drums and you and the divine feminine sings or dances, or some kind of way how we can make both of our musics that we have, how we can blend those two things together and make beautiful music. And then also how we kind of feel the rhythm, you know, like everything in the world has its own rhythm, you know. And so how do we, even with our rhythm, beating to our own drums, how do we also play a part in the world as well? Like still kind of have our own melody, but then at the same time, we're helping out that we're not that too rebellious that, you know, it's kind of like a sound that people like, but at the same time, they make it say, oh, you know what, I ain't never think about playing something like them, or mixing those two instruments together. So that's something that you had. I had picked up clarifies, was exchanging gifts. And that's just what I'm talking about, that changing gifts between you and the world, or between you and the divine feminine in the 3D. So you're just having that proper exchange when you're talking about music. And then I got milk and honey. I won't do reversals today, but really today, I mean, on this, it did tell me to do it for this one. Milk and honey. So really trying to find out with this is like really the sweetness of life through every melody that you have, and the rainbow. Again, like I say, how you send that energy over to your divine feminine, those things. And so these are all the things that as far as the divine masculine finding and doing this music, this helps him to kind of really find his own melody that stands out of to beat his own drum. For the divine feminine, you have talk to your angels. You talked about becoming more light workers, more angelic. And this is pretty much coming out as well as far as finding your purpose, how you can really find out who you are. And then we have higher power. So this is really going to help you up your game as becoming a divine feminine in the world, how you can help yourself, how you can help others, and how you play a part in the universe too. So the divine masculine and divine feminine are both what I'm picking up is kind of mirroring each other too. Is like finding your own voice, your own melody, but then the divine feminine within herself is finding her own power within that. And that's the difference that I'm picking up for that. Okay.
Excellent. Excellent. That sounds good.
Yeah. Okay, so our next one is, what things do we have to surrender? I think we both got the surrender cards, don't we?
Yeah, so that'll be fun. That'll be a deck
like 1, 2, 3, show your card.
a deck to deck match, huh?
What did I do with the damn surrender cards? Are they upside down?
You had them a minute ago. I remember seeing them.
I know I had it right here. There we go. Surrender cards. Okay. Clear.
Yeah, I think that your milk and honey card corresponded to my simplicity card.
Okay, how so? Because I felt you was like, I got something else that can go with that.
Well, just yeah, the milk and honey card was just like with the simplicity. It's like enjoying the finer things in life, you know.
Okay, right.
Like it's like finding the simple pleasures, and you know, being in that more celebratory energy.
Right. Okay. My God, who are you talking? This is a story.
Right.
I say it's a story.
How many did you get?
I got 3 for the masculine and 4 for the lady at the end of the roulette table. No, for the divine feminine. I got 4 for her, 3 for the divine masculine.
Okay. Well, you start this one.
Okay, so now with the surrender card, we have the idea you can fix someone. This for me, every time when I do a reading for the divine masculine, this keeps coming up. Some kind of way it's time for a relationship to shift. It doesn't work to try to fix someone. Each person must be accountable for his or her own healing. Some kind of way it is that he feels like he can be this savior. I keep on seeing like widening the horse with this either karmic or whatever kind of situation at the workplace, a karmic situation, person, place, thing. Really feeling that he could really save what's going on. And it's just like, you know, you've got really surrender that thought of that you can fix everybody. Like my mom always say, and which is always ring true. You can go in there and try to fix somebody, but you guess what? At the end of the day, who's gonna get changed? You either gonna get hurt feelings, broke toes, something's gonna go wrong because you're going in there trying to save somebody else. That's like if somebody's drowning. You try to save them. Eventually, if they don't know how to drown or how to swim, you know that from if you're swimming, you're gonna have that person going to take you under because they so wild about it. So this is what's going on with the divine masculine. Whoever it is, I won't say it's a divine feminine because the divine feminine already said, I'm on my own, I'm doing my own thing. You worry about what you're doing over there, and I worry about what I'm doing over here. So whatever it is, he's got that thing. And I'm thinking it's pretty much coming from childhood, something about like maybe the mother, maybe she might have, I'm picking this up intuitively, about this one divine masculine that the mom had made him feel like he was like the man of the house or something like that, or so she heavily relied upon him. And from that point on, that's kind of misconstrued or misshaping how he kind of views people. It's like, I'm always going to save everybody. So this is the issue here. For the divine masculine, I have surrender to the beauty of the natural world. Take a relaxing break, spend time in nature, replenish yourself by feeling the beauty and the ecstasy there. I believe that with the divine masculine, sometimes he has a problem viewing the world. It might be misconstrued by whether this childhood issue that might have came up, or just things that happen just in general, just in the world with him. And he has to kind of like, instead of looking at the world in rose-colored glasses, everything is seen with mud or gray or smoky gray tinted or something. And so you're not really being able to take time to, like to say, see the forest beyond the trees. Or now I got somebody to help me when I forget stuff. So right there, you're having the issue doing that to really see the greater picture about what's going on about this union. And so that's kind of really an issue that's going on right now with divine masculine. You got to learn how to surrender that. I'll let y'all know you got something else to expound on that. Because I see the sunlight breaking in. You probably, when you see this picture, you know, like the psychologist said, look at this picture. What do you see? I see darkness. Okay, you don't see no kind of light. It all comes through the tree. Nah, it looks scary. Okay, that's what some masters are kind of seeing there. Surrender your attachment to results. The formula for success is to do all you can to make things happen, then let go of the results. Holding on too tightly to a desired outcome can sabotage it. And, you know, I think with this is that the divine master comes in there with this really a mindset about how he thinks things should go. And if he would really sit down and get real with himself, he would see that, you know what, some of this stuff that I done thought of and really put me in a pickle, a jam, or in a hot mess with that. And so it's like, if you take time out to say, you know, this is what I want. I want this situation to happen, X, Y, and Z. And, you know, it's like, okay, now really, is that for my highest good? No, if I sit down and I don't think so. Not, maybe I could get it not right now, maybe not with this person, but or in this situation, I got to clear up some stuff. That's the problem. Is just like, you know, I want it now. I want it all. I want it right now. So that's kind of been your mantra. And some of that things, hopefully in 2019, you will release that and just kind of let go with the flow. Okay. You don't need me to sing. Let it flow, let it flow, let it flow, let it flow. Turn it back. All right, I'm out on that one. I say my feminine. You go on ahead and do the. Did you see anything for the divine masculine? Did you see anything for the divine masculine? You want me to go on and do the divine feminine?
That's well, I'd rather you finish yours and then I'll get into my
Okay, all right, that's fine. So now next one, surrender to your full power. This is the divine feminine. Yeah, and that is true. We do have issues. Your life is calling for you to step in your full power rather than playing it small. I think about the card that have that with the little giraffe and the little small one, the younger version of the giraffe is saying, come on out of there. You're too big for that tree stump. And so that's the same thing. A lot of us have been playing ourselves small. This has been pretty much by society. Some of it because of family. Some of it's been tradition. Some of it's religion. We got a lot of things that's pressuring on us to say, you know, that don't think a certain way. Don't speak. Okay, a man not gonna like you speak too loud or speak your mind. You know, kind of bow down to whatever he says. So you got a lot of kind of things there as a divine feminine that's really saying you to not really shine and really be coming to your divinity like you're supposed to. So we got to kind of surrender to that. We got to get into our full power as well. Surrender to your intuition. Tune into voice. Be aware of any gut feelings, flashes, knowings, and aha moments that come through to guide you. And so, you know, you just got to really, it's nothing like a feminine's intuition. It's just nothing like it. You know, you feel it. We pretty much spot on with it. I'd say, I give them, like my mom said, 10% that we might be a little off, and that's not really likely. It's 99.9% that it is, but we've got to kind of really trust it, you know, and that doesn't have to go by relationships that we always thinking about, oh, I feel he cheating or he doing this. By intuition about your mission, you know, it's like, you know, I kind of always like working with children. Okay, well then, why don't you go investigate that? Say, you know, it's just, I got to sneaking suspicion and I'm supposed to be doing something with children. I don't know if I should be educator or maybe I should over my own child care. So you have to kind of really think about your intuition. If something is telling you about instinctively, this is what you should be doing, then trust yourself and say, yeah, this is what I should do. The next one is surrender your desire to control people. Now, ain't that almost the same? They're kind of mirroring each other, aren't they? You trying to fix people. I'm trying to fix your shine. Fix your little scarf there. I'm trying to fix it. Okay, all that stuff, that's what the masculine is doing. And then the feminine is like, I'm trying to control you. Now, this is what you going to say when we get on it. Now, hold on a second. That stuff. So being over controlling can sabotage relationships. And we do. It's like, okay, he don't talk to me, I'm going to do this. You know, he don't do this, I'm gonna make sure he gonna react to me in this certain type of way. Okay, so we're kind of doing that again, trying to control people, and we got to kind of watch that. Feminines have it bad. I can say that myself too. You know, I'm like, okay, they ain't gonna do it the way I do. I'll make darn sure they're gonna do it the way I want to, because I know what's best for everybody. And she has that. Surrender to non-action. Now is the time to be still and not act. Simply breathe and focus on your own power. Let others come to you. And that same thing with the divine master. Don't go chasing. Don't do anything. Come right here. I love you just the way you are. So don't do any of those. Don't go changing. Don't go doing no extra stuff to it. Or anything, just be you, you know. And Sean has taught me that from him talking to Patricia, where you said, you know, don't protect your twin from whatever that's going on with you. So, you know, don't seem like you got to go change this and do this and, oh, this going to draw him into me and something like that. And you like, hey, he called you and he come to your house unexpected. And you like, look, today it's PJ day. I'm going to wear my glasses on. Then, hey, let him see you like that. Non-action. I don't need to put in action, putting on no extra show for you. So that's the same thing that we're saying about the non-action. It's in the spiritual world. Don't think on them so much. Just kind of let them go and do their own thing, and they will find themselves to come back home and gravitate back to you. So that's what it's saying about non-action. We do a lot of things. Concentrate on you, and everything else will follow through. Ooh, that rhymed. I'm finished.
You're finished. Okay. I lost count. I thought that was 3 cards for the feminine instead of 4. That was all 4. Okay. I lost count. Well, okay, cool. So I did 5 cards, and I've got messages for both sides for each card. So the first one that I got was surrender to the magic of who you are. Okay. So what I see for that is that, like, with this, what's happening right now with the more masculine twins or whatever, or sometimes I like to think of it as the less awake twins. They're really stepping into a place where they have to accept their divinity. You know, most of us who are the more awake twins, who typically speaking would be those who are more divine feminine identified. We've been processing that part of it for much longer. Whereas with the less awake twins or the divine masculine twins, you see their need to surrender to the magic of who they are is about releasing conformity. Like they're more so afraid of accepting their divinity because they want to feel like one of the rest of the boys or whatever. Like they want to like feel like more so like the community and the earth community that they're like more connected to. And so like they've had this problem with like trying to conform. And so they're going to have to process that during this year. Whereas those of us who are on the more awake side of the spectrum, we've got to surrender to the magic of who we are in the way of accepting our power. Because like you said, feminines have been so repressed or whatever, and there have been all these messages trying to keep us small that a lot of us have reached the point where we're afraid of our own power. So like we've got to surrender to the magic of who we are in the sense that we have to accept the birthright of our divinity and accept the responsibility that comes with that. It's like I've said before, we have to create our unions. Like we have to manifest them and not be afraid to do it, you know? So this is the only card that we had in common, and that was surrender your attachment to results. And so for you, it came out for the masculine, but for me, it came out for all of us. And I think, you know, on the masculine side of the equation, I would go along with what you said. It's some of them, especially those of them who are in the karmic relationships, not only are they in karmic relationships, but a lot of them are in karmic situations. Like they're choosing like a more, they're choosing that conformity lifestyle, you know, like they're choosing to sort of stay in a life that the divine aspect of themselves would not have created for them, you know, like they're, in addition to not being in their love energy, a lot of them are really not in their purpose, you know, in their higher sense of purpose. So what they're trying to do is like they're trying to manifest something from the wrong perspective. So they keep trying to put a square into a circle hole, like a square peg into a circle hole. And so like they've got to like just sort of like let go of that and let go and release into who they are. A friend of mine once said, you have to give up the life you plan to get the life that you want. You know, that's where they are. They have to give up the life that they plan to get the life that they want. And the message that's more so for divine feminines when it comes to this card, to me, is pretty consistent in that divine feminines, especially those who are maybe not choosing to do the inner work as much as they ought to be doing, like those who are sort of like more focused on the twin blaming or whatever, like they're not, there's this dynamic, they're putting too much negative thought energy into it. So by being they're doing the card that came out on your side, like surrender your desire to control people. They're doing so much of trying to sort of like, you know, like, become the puppeteer or become like the remote control of their twin flames remote control car. You know, like they're doing so much of that and not seeing that reflecting their divinity back to them. You don't control your way into your divinity, you release your way into your divinity. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like, by being overly attached to trying to manifest the union or trying to like make something happen with the karmic situation or whatever it is, like that's the mechanism by which you sabotage your union. Like I tell people all the time, chasing is running. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like if you're chasing your twin and trying to do too much of like, you know, trying to chase them down and like flag him down and, you know, drag him to the ground and say, no, you're coming home right now. You know, what's he going to do? He's going to go, you know, like he's going to like get as far away from that as he can.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to, both sides need to surrender their attachment to the results in order for things to come together in the way that they're supposed to. This is a great one. The next one that comes out is surrender your belief in scarcity. So this is for those of us trying to manifest abundance, whether that's an abundance of love, friendship, an abundance of good time, an abundance of money, an abundance of union, et cetera, et cetera. And so this plays on both sides. And I think it plays on both sides in all aspects. You know, I don't think that one of them, you know, is more pronounced in terms of love or abundance or whatever. You know, like we're programmed to believe in scarcity. We're programmed to believe in a lack, but we live in a universe of abundance. So this is about releasing that programming so that we can fall into our abundance, you know, so that we can release into our abundance and manifest our abundance. So this one is surrender fear. So, you know, I don't want to be repetitive here, but what I'll say in the interest of adding something new to the equation is that, you know, like it's kind of like it's kind of like circling a drain. Like the process of coming into the twin flame union for those of us who are twin flames is the same thing as the process of ascension. And so like we release our ego, and along the way we experience all these little ego deaths, you know. And those of us who are more identified with ego, we get afraid of experiencing those ego deaths, you know? So like that's the big unifying template that connects to all of it, you know, like whether that, because it's your false ego that keeps you from being in love, that keeps you from being in your abundance, that keeps you from being in your divinity. So we're surrendering the fear of letting go of what needs to be let go of so that we can be everything that we need to be. And that's on all sides of it. Okay, and surrender to setting limits. So to me, like this is a lot of, it goes back to this strategy card, you know, it's about like taking the active role in the manifestation thing. And so that says, okay, you've got to let go of this. I've got to let go of this, you know, like I can't spend this amount of time, you know, like going through all the process of trying to do this forecast of like whatever so that I can configure myself with the intention of making my twin do something. You know, I got to set a boundary and say, no, I got to cut that off and go work on my mission and go like shine the light in the world and go do this and that and this. And with the masculine twins, of course, you know, they've got to set that limit in terms of they got to find that point at which enough is enough. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. You know, okay, cool. I'm done BSing. I'm done being something that I'm not, and I'm ready to start taking steps toward home, you know?
Right. Yeah, and that's funny because that, like you said, all that stems back to, again, helping to find out where your peace is, what are you grateful for, and how do you show love to others. All this all falls underneath my surrender, your surrender. That still falls underneath all of those intentions, like you said, about your strategies of how you do about that, because you got to surrender in order for you to get higher levels. You got to let some things go, and that's one part of it is that ego. That's the major thing to be able to ascend and go to a higher level on that one. Okay, now we're going to break down the year into quarters. So we're looking at the first three, that will be January, February, and March. And then we're going to April, May, April, May, and June. How you got my brain is like, come on now. And July, August, and September, October, November, and December. Yay, my brain. So we're breaking it into four quarters and three, so we can kind of see what are some of the main events that's going to be kind of like maybe turning points or something that's going to be a catalyst for you to be able to make this change into union, or help you into union, or help you become a better you. in 2019.
I'm gonna kind of do it as a love forecast.
Got you. Okay, you can do the love forecast, and I've been intuitive to see about what is some events that's going to happen to change for that one. 1, 2, 3. Okay, I'm not going to slap it on. Let me see how I can do a combo. I say clear? I don't think I did. Clear. Okay, January, February, March. What's going to happen for April, May, June. Whoa, Jesus. Whoa, that's a flyer. September. What's going to happen there? Jack and Sticky. Oh, wait a second. You came out and you came out. Let's see how that goes together. And then, whoa, ooh, look at that. I like that. Pulled that right there. All right.
Something jump out at you?
Yeah, that one got pulled. I was like, at the end of the year, it's going to be this. I was like, okay, I like that. Okay, I think I want to get some clarified. It'll take a while, so if you're there. Okay, so I'm going to clarify this. That's right. Wow. Okay, now you're getting acrobatic with them. You're showing out now.
What?
Because you're getting acrobatic, doing flips like they on some kind of tight wire thing. Here you go. Add this one.
Yeah, I've had a few readings like that. And
like, hey, okay, it's your turn. All right. Let's see what we got here. I think I'm gonna have to put my glasses on. We came to the end of the road with the eyes.
Wow, mine looks amazing.
Okie dokie. We like amazing. We like see amazing. Okay, let me wipe off my other second pair of eyes here.
So how are we going to do this? Are we going to do quarter by quarter, like you, then me, or are we going to do
it that way? So that way I can keep up and remember. And that help you for the like what they say? January. So first quarter. Okay. Let's do it that way. All right. So, okay, I got I'll start off with a reversal. So the first of the quarter again is 10 of Earth for me, which is a very happy family life, financial security, finding magic in the little things in life. I would say for me, for the energies, for me, I don't know what certain group of collective this is. Some of us is not coming into, it could go two ways. I got a fork in the road. Some of us are happy, like you heard Sean saying, I'm really in my best life right now. I'm living life. We could toast it up, champagne life. Financial security. We're just really working on just really kind of maintaining. This financial security don't look like you, like we're in the money. We ain't doing all that. We just kind of maintaining what we have.
right?
And finding other ways that we can get some more money. Let's put it that way. Finding magic in the little things. With Shawnee pretty much just said that earlier too. Just like, I'm just looking at everything become magical. Looking at the little fairy, Tinkerbell, I'm becoming Peter Pan. Those things. Then you got people who are like on my side. I'm the opposite thing. Where it's like, I don't know about the happy family, the very happy family life. It's just like, okay, we're trying to maintain and balance what we have. Financial security, we're pretty much on one of that. I don't get any kind of split of the road with that. We're just kind of working at it. Some of us is kind of living kind of paycheck to paycheck. I'm feeling that up there. Are we doing it? But you know, it's just like we just kind of breaking even. And finding magic in the little things. We had some moments that, you know, some days we can do it and some days that we can't. So I got Poker Roll for 2 sets of Unisouls that's out there. This is defined by the Magician and the Mirror, okay, card here. And so when I look at it, I see the Magician in the Mirror is really finding pretty much the magic, making things happen behind the scenes that you don't know of. I'm seeing this person that's from my maybe aspect that I'm seeing is like, it's like, you know, they're really having all this stuff going on behind them. And it's like, you know, you turn around, you actually see, oh my God, that's what happened. You know, like sometimes you see on stage and you know, like they're talking and all this scenery, you know, you go to a play and all these things are changing behind them and they turn around like, oh my God, it's a wicked wonderland, like the Nutcracker. And like, oh my God. So it's like, you know, you up there, woe was me, but you don't really see what the magician is doing back here. Or maybe the big changes that they're doing that's happening behind the scenes, which behind the scenes will be inside of you. It's some shifting, it's some major changes that's going on. And so you should really got to get to the point that you are happy about the littlest things because it's changes. You know, you're not the same way you were back in 2018. You know, if you look back again, January, same day you put down the file and see what you were doing there, you say, my God, I have grown. So, you know, it's something in that you should be looking. So that's what it's about the Magician in the Mirror. It's like looking at yourself, seeing what kind of magical things is happening behind the scenes. This is what I'm seeing, like a stage. And they look around and say, oh my God, they didn't change the scenery. So that's what I see for the first quarter.
Okay.
What do you have for the love?
Okay. So for the love forecast, I got the first card that came out was Religious Factors. So your love life is influenced by your religious upbringing and spiritual path. So I think what's coming through for me for this is like, it's that just it's a more general thing. Like it's affected by your preconceived beliefs. You know, like what has your culture taught you about love? What has your surroundings taught, your environment taught you about love? All these things. These ideas become really deeply ingrained. And because we live in a paradigm where everything is so limited from the outside coming in, to the degree that we're holding on to that is the degree to which we are limiting ourselves. So we can only get back from our twin flame union that which we believe we can get. You know what I'm saying? So we need to surrender our religious factors, our deeply held beliefs that we think are immutable. We need to allow some flexibility to come in so that these things can flourish. And then romantic feelings. So I think both sides are starting to feel your feelings are real and worth exploring. Both sides are starting to feel the spark of their real true love. You know, like both sides are like that flame is developing inside of both parties. You know, within each given unisoul relationship. So we've got awaiting results. This is from the John Holland Psychic Tarot of the Heart deck. So it's sort of like this energy of like biding your time, and this side's looking at this side, and this side's looking at this side, and we're both saying, okay, I want you to make a move, I want you to make a move, blah 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 blah. Both sides are looking for cues from each other, but it's sort of like got you in this situation where, but it's like no one's making a move, so both sides are standing still and looking at. But it's sort of like this idea of like sort of like looking at each other. We're processing the beliefs that we need to let go of, while the emotions are developing. And so we're sort of both looking for some sort of manifestation of this process, but it's not quite happening. But the other card that comes out is Healing Begins. So both sides are actually in the middle of, or at the beginning of like a really deep healing process that's going to make more room for better things to come in.
Oh, okay. I see how I can use that. Okay, good. Okay, so the second quarter of the year. So that was January, February, March. So this April, May, and June. So we're moving into that one. Okay, so we got into the spring of things, moving our way into summer. So I got 3 cards that came out for that flew out. And it will say that one of the events will have to do with, okay, so we're going from financial stability in the beginning of the quarter, and now we got an inflow of abundance, promising business venture, important documents, a contract. So some of us probably are getting more into our businesses there. We're finding more other ways in which we can find money, and then some documents. So I would say again, if anybody's into some kind of legal thing, an issue that's going on, this probably is going to come to light. I'm looking at the little girl here, I didn't show it. Come to light, especially when we're talking about in these months. Maybe some of us, if we're in marriages or something like that, or divorce or something about these documents, maybe you might say, okay, I'm gonna start. Or either you got promising somebody, you sit down with the lawyer and the lawyer say, okay, this looks pretty good. When you divide up the assets or whatever, we should be able to get, this divorce or issue run smoothly. So something about that that's going to happen. This is pretty much clarified by anxiety. This here, when we're thinking about doing these things, it's probably going to draw these certain things out of you, which you're going to be kind of anxious about this big adventure. But I would also say this is that, once you start and begin, you take baby steps and you kind of talk to yourself and say, okay, how do I feel? And then take another baby step. Okay, how do I feel? That's rather if you're talking about doing this divorce thing or whatever, this contract, or this business, or buy this house, or maybe contract even to get a car, you've got to take it to the point that in your spirit you feel that it is right for you to do it. And that's going to help you put these anxieties to ease. So it's like the shadow. This is the good thing, but then again, along with some of the good stuff, there's always going to be some shadow that's going to be following behind that. We have also another thing that's going to happen. We have 9 of water. Your wishes come true. Concerns fade away. Now you come from the shade, so it's almost having this anxiety, the shadow thing, into moving into this. So it looks like it's going to have kind of like little phases in between this month. It doesn't have to happen in this order. Well, yeah, it does, because I feel like this is like a continuous story that's going on. So like at the beginning of the one of them, what do you say, January, February, March, April, you're going to have this influx of money where it's tax season, isn't it? Where you might get your tax refund back. By that time, so you say, okay, let me take that money and go invest in some kind of business or something like that. You're like, oh my God, I'm so nervous about doing this. I don't know if I should. So then next move on into the next one, which will be May. You're like, okay, my wishes come true. This business thing looks like it's actually gonna come together. Oh my God, I can't believe this. And when you start having friends and families helping you out with this thing, you're like, okay, you know what? I don't know what I was worried for in the beginning. This is fine. So you're going to have a love of life. So this is going to help you propel you to have this new love of life in the process. This has got daughter value. I'm going to say it's going to be more of an emphasis, daughter value in reverse, which means with these happening, and that makes sense. Okay. After you have the doors open and your dreams come true, you will find daughter value just to yourself. It's also into the physical world as well. Money's going to start flowing in. The light within yourself, you're finding more things and understanding yourself more and more going into your divinity, like the curtains will draw back and say, presenting the real divine sunshine, where the divinity that's coming through. So that's what I'm seeing. It's like a new stage, and it's like, okay, presenting, like, oh, okay, this is the new her. So yes, so you're going to have a new daughter value to yourself. For that one. And then you have also with 8 of air. So we got we got the earth, the water. So you're going to have things in the material, physical world. You got some emotional things going on, and you're going to have a little conflict going on here. So this conflict, an illusion of being trapped, a lack of self-confidence, afraid to take action. Now, like I said, yes, it can happen in this way, and I'm going to tell you why. Because sometimes, once you get your dream, you kind of start panicking, don't you? After a while, like, can I do this? Oh, I don't know. How long is it? Are they going to really like this business? I don't know. Like, now, how, I need supplies. Maybe you want to open up a restaurant, like food. And you're like, okay, I don't know. The customers won't keep on coming. What do I have to do to keep these customers coming? So now the self-doubt starts kicking in. And so this may be, the next thing is clarify about hostility. So, you know, you just kind of deal with that, and you might be kind of a little upset or things kind of, I wouldn't say like hostile, like in a violent way, but you know, like I said, these like an attack of all of these self-doubt and these negative thoughts start really kind of coming to you, because it's like, yeah, I'm doing it, but I can't believe it. And then also, so you might have naysayers from the outside that's helping to propel that voice going on in your head as well. So yes, this can happen in this order, but you know, if you're watching this forecast, what we got out here, when you see it happen, you should be saying, nope, I don't want that. You should be bouncing that off. So that's what I got for the second quarter.
Okay. All right. So looking at the love cards or whatever, the first one that came out was children. So I see this as having meanings for several different layers of meaning. For one, I think that it represents, like you said, you were talking about the businesses. And so I think that like for some people, if you're not like, so if you don't actually have like human children, you have like sort of like these businesses or these creative projects or something like that that you poured a lot of your love into. And I think that this is sort of like the love that you're experiencing through that is helping to develop your love life. It's helping to develop the energy of love in your life that's going to spill over into your union in a positive way. And for those who do have children or those who want children, this is sort of like a positive omen in terms of like that motivation. The children in your life are going to help you be more in the energy of union, because their purity is going to sort of like energetically inspire you to clear out some of your own garbage and be more childlike. And that is a good position to be in to receive the love and the abundance of joy that is available to you through your union and through the life that your Unisoul wants to create for you. And then you know, the last card from the first quarter was healing. So there's a connection there in terms of like healing the inner child. So all these things kind of like tie together in terms of like, it's just that energy that we associate with children of a lighthearted, pure type of love, whether that's poured into your Unisoul partnership, whether it's poured into your business, or whether that's poured into your desire for children or the children who are already in your life. So then the next card that comes out is give your relationship a chance, work on your partnership. So in whatever way is appropriate for each given Unisoul couple, you know, twin flame couple, this will manifest however it does. Some people who are all in communication will need to like actually be starting to do the work of like working on having those heart-to-heart conversations and saying, you know, this is where I am, this is where I want us to go. It's about kind of investing more time. Those who need to be doing it through the light body or something like that need to be getting still with themselves and investing more time and more energy into that process. So however that manifests, it's time to, you know, it's sort of like the evolution from the romantic feelings card in the first quarter. Now in the second quarter, we're thinking in terms of, okay, I really need to give this a chance. I really need to put in more effort toward actually making this relationship real. The next card that comes out is nurture, which is also, this is also the Empress card. So I think there are a lot of meanings to this. For one, I think that there's a higher divine feminine energy that's sort of helping to guide us together more so. So it's kind of like the higher beings, like the higher like divine feminine beings are sort of like you said, the magician behind the man kind of thing. It's like they're sort of like doing a little bit of work from behind us to sort of like more so push us together. But I think that it also kind of connects to this card, like how do you give your relationship a chance? You nurture it, you know, so you need to nurture your divine counterpart. You need to be sending them positive energy. When you get chances to interact, you need to be showing them that like, yes, I can take care of you, I can take care of us, and the Unisoul can take care of both of us. And then the next card that comes out is reach out. So this is a pretty consistent message in terms of it's actually saying that there needs to be a real, there needs to be something real here. There needs to be an actual reaching out from one partner to the other, or from both partners to each other, of that nurturing energy in order to give the relationship a chance.
Yeah, but you was showing that, I heard the ow. then, reach out, it's all, I can hear that Sylvia play this blasting in my ear. That part. So he say, reach out. If you reach out and reach out your hand for me, I'll be there to love and to comfort you. Yeah, that's the word. So yeah, so that definitely on that one. So next we're moving on into the third quarter. So that will be July, August, and September. Okay, for that one, I have 2 cards that came up for that one. So some of the events going on is 3 of Water, a celebration, a wedding, a graduation, or birth announcement. Maybe you talk about this children. It's like it's time to give birth to the child now. So really maybe doing at the beginning, if you're saying it's like a business, you really have been planning it. This time it's time to give birth to this business now. So and this maybe you had like a little soft opening, and now it's time to like say, okay, that's the real deal, Holyfield. Let's open up the doors and let these customers come into this brand new restaurant that you have here. So this is the time that's going to happen. And so now we have with this the feminine, a woman holding a coin. So to me, what this means as far as emotionally, the divine feminine to me represents the emotions. So this is really becoming more invested into your emotions about what's going on in this celebration or this graduation. Also along with this, we have the Knight of Fire. Passionate, adventurous, self-assured, restless. A sudden event that needs immediate attention. Time is in the essence. Think things through carefully. This is funny. Every time a card to me, instinctively, the cards have been giving me like a light and a shadow. So, just like when you're doing this, yay, it's celebration time. And then you turn around and they turn and say, excuse me, manager or the business owner. You're like, what happened? Or the fry ain't working. What you mean the fry not working? Oh, Jesus, I think I have fries. So, it's something that's always going to be coming along that's going to kind of make you say, okay, but you got to stay very firm and confident, just like this, this Knight of Fire. And Knight of Fire is action. So definitely means you've got to become a person of action, even when these things happen. And every time when I see this being represented to me, it tells me you got to stay grounded. No matter what's happening, you still got to stay grounded and rooted, because this is the root color into everything that's going on, and just really know who you are through the whole process of what happens. Okay, that's funny. Now, this is the man holding the heart. So we're thinking about divine masculine to me, and his energies is about being analytical in his thinking. Just making sure you just have some heart and some real courage behind this to stay the course, not to talk yourself out of it again. Because like I said, I've seen that came up before. A lot of this self-talk and self-doubt. And this really, to me, just stay in the course, especially like this horse, as far as where you're going on the journey of in this business, making sure that, like I said, this wedding, which means this serious commitment. So it's funny that both the energies came up, the feminine and the masculine. So really trying to find this prosperity means to me in the world, this is worldly things. And for the divine masculine, we're talking about emotions and in your heart about what's actually going on. So when those things, you just really know how to kind of anchor down and get serious and saying, okay, I knew this was going to happen. Everything doesn't have to always come up roses. And I know how to handle these when these things and these trials and tribulations occur. So that's what's going to happen for the third quarter, according to the cards for me.
Okay. All right. Well, okay. So for the love forecast, we have the first one that comes out is getting to know each other. So as you reveal your innermost selves to each other, your bond deepens. So it's like more of a step up. We had in the last quarter, give your relationship a chance. Now it's like more of action. There's more like of those exchanges between each other and getting to know each other. And then you have this card that comes out, this could be the one. So if for whatever degree there's any doubt, like there's just more of, the more you get to know each other, the more you both are becoming convinced that this is my one, this is who I'm meant to be with, this is my divine counterpart. It's sort of like this building of like the actual union energy, the building of the actual relationship, And then Darkest Fears comes out. So it's kind of like what you said about the light and the shadow. You know, as you're getting to know each other, it's like you're taking these steps toward union. It's escalating. You know, it's coming up more and more, and that's when you're going to be triggering each other's darkest fears. So as you're triggering each other's darkest fears, it's kind of like this last like leg of like purging all that out to reach higher ground together, so that you can actually be in full union. And so then the other card that comes out is choose your battles. So again, sometimes when you're triggering each other, you know, there's a difference between triggering each other when you're this far apart versus triggering each other when you're this far apart and this close together. Do you know what I'm saying? So like the choose your battles card is really about, it also connects to this from the surrender deck, surrender the need to always be right. You know, it's kind of like, you know, like choose your battles is telling you you're both in this together, and you need to both work together cooperatively to figure out, you know, which things, like, you know, like, you know, to just give an example, one twin may be like, okay, we can't eat pork. You know, if you eat pork, it's going to be like I'm eating pork, and we can't do that. You know what I mean? And the other twin is going to be like, well, no, I insist that we eat pork. I want bacon every morning, you know, that kind of thing. So it's kind of like you go through this process of seeing where are the points of compromise. It's sort of like as you're negotiating becoming one, what type of life will that one be living as expressed through both of you? You know what I'm saying? So it's about like pick and choose where are the important parts and which parts are just kind of trivial. And, you know, you kind of have to let some stuff go and compromise on both sides.
Gotcha. And we're at the last end of the stretch, the fourth quarter, which is the end there. So we got October, November, and December. So for me, we have here is Ace of Water, okay? So we're in our emotions again. So falling in love, or the researches of a relationship, spiritual growth, enhanced intuition, and a new home. What twin flame doesn't want to hear the word home at the end of the stretch of the year? Yay! And so we got adjacent possibilities. And when I see this card right here, something great is right around the corner right there. You're good. You're going to stumble right on into it. So right now with you, this is pretty much self-explanatory, is that really at the end, the divine feminine and divine masculine is going to really find a newness within this relationship. Just like what Sean said for the last quarter, getting to know each other. I eat pork, you don't eat pork. Okay, we ain't the point like we used to at the beginning of the unit. Say, let's call the whole thing off. No, we're going to find a way to compromise, because we're like, we can't do that on fire for you to talk about you don't eat pork and I eat pork. I love me some ribs, but I love you. So we're going to figure this out. So that part, this is where we are. And then also spiritual growth. And we should, from this whole year, totality and what it represents is love of self, and learning how to love your divine counterpart, and then letting that filtrate out into the world. We should have some kind of spiritual growth and enhanced intuition. At this point, like we said earlier in the reading, we should be able to trust our intuition and our awareness and set for a new home. Our definition of what makes us comfortable together as our divine feminine and divine masculine, working together, we're creating a new world or a new home for ourselves and for the universe as well. Like I said, just adjacent by, it's just a lot of doors. It's just a lot of doors that are open because of this newness that's being brought in at the end of the year. And I see here you got 2 here, which is your unity, and 4 is getting grounded. So you're getting grounded into your unity. So that's it for the quarter for me.
Okay. All right, that sounds good. So the first card that came out for the last quarter was True Love. So, right? So this is the romance of a lifetime. So it's, again, like these cards have all been a steady escalation, you know, like we're getting to that point. And now we're ready to be in our true love. And we're at the point where we've accepted this, like this is our true love. We're fully moving toward a relationship. Of course, it would have to be the case that the next card that came out was pay attention to the red flags. So what this is, the signs are cautioning you. What this is sort of like, it's a preventative measure to keep us from doing the fool's rush in thing. So rather than saying, okay, we're going to go live together right now, we're gonna like suss it all out. We're gonna say, we're gonna like actually be strategic about it. Going back to the beginning of the reading, we're gonna be strategic about it, and we're gonna say, okay, rather than do that, what might let's look ahead. What might trigger me about the way you behave in your domestic life? You know, that kind of thing. We're gonna think ahead in terms of, rather than trying to rush into doing too much too quickly. And that's what we need to do. The next card that comes out is Master. So this is us being in our mastery. And it's about this guy has his heart in a cage or whatever, but what card is coming to me, again, this is about being in your mastery. This is about, we are locking the borders tightly around our unisoul. You know, he's got the heart in the cage, but that cage is actually keeping others out. It's not about keeping us. I think this might translate to sort of like the Devil card in the other deck. I'm not 100% sure about that. Let me look that up to see. But that's not what's going on with this deck. This is about someone who is in their full power and in control of bringing this thing together and keeping the rest of the world out. You know, saying this love is just for us. You know, nothing gets past this border. And then the next card that comes out is Third Eye Chakra. So this is about truth. This is about like an ultimate, as we come closer together, we get this deep awakening into the truth of who we are. We get the connection to all of our past lives and parallel lives. We get that capacity to travel the higher realms together and to sort of see ourselves, to experience the Unisoul being its own being through us. You know, like that's kind of like the light of truth that's going to come through for both parties and make us realize that we are the masters of love. You know, we are the masters of this new type of connection that we're spreading throughout the world.
Okay, all right then. Okay, so we pretty much kind of almost touched into our next topic, which is the shadow. Can you kind of give a little into when we talk about the shadow work, what that's pretty much talking about?
Well, yeah, it's kind of like the shadow work is really about like wholeness. You know, it's about like confronting the shadow, confronting the things that we don't necessarily want to look at in order to purge it or integrate it or learn how to accept ourselves and learn how to love ourselves more unconditionally. So it's an important part of the process of being on this journey to do the shadow work and to say, and it teaches us more about how not to judge ourselves and how not to judge our divine counterparts and how not to judge other people throughout the world. You know, it's kind of like keeps us from getting too much of an inflated ego about being divines, you know? And it's through doing the shadow work that we can increase in our divinity, because sometimes we have to look at the things that we don't want to look at to know what has to go so that we can go higher and higher. Does that sum it up?
Yep. I got the mic works. Okay, we don't do them in reversals. It is what it is.
We're not doing reversals?
No, I'm telling myself. It'll tell me. You know, I flip flop. Like, no reversals. It's a set of cards. I don't do reversals yet. And sometimes I do. Today it didn't say to do that. Because we talk about shadows, so I got to read it the way it is. Do I want to clarify y'all? Clarify y'all for that? Okay, since I haven't brought these bad boys, you did. I'm going to do a little spin with it.
What did you say? You want me to start?
No, yeah, you can start because I'm about to do a little experimental spin, which I have not done before.
Okay.
We're going to be first live on the first time. We're going to experiment on this one.
Okay. I'm here for it.
Okay.
I'm into it.
Oh, it's a story. I gotta wait for these damn stories. Okay, here we go.
Okay, so you ready for this?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, so the first one that comes out for me is acceptance, and this is the Flowers of the Night Oracle. I think I think I'm going to probably read the book for pretty much all of these.
Okay.
But by making peace now with what you may find unchangeable, you could find a new way forward. Evening Primrose indicates that emotional support is needed and offered. Often when we feel held in this space, we will naturally improve our outlook considerably. Your commitment to a project, idea, or relationship will be required. This energy also aligns with parental relationships which may be tested at present. This flower helps immensely with family relationships and can send a message that things are improving, but that you also need to set firm boundaries to protect yourself.
Amen. Amen. Read that again.
This flower helps immensely with family relationships and can send a message that things are improving, but that you also need to set firm boundaries to protect yourself.
Yes, yes, yes. My subscribers know. Okay, all right.
You could be facing rejection soon and are reminded that it is not you who's being rejected, but rather something that you are doing or connected with. This is the time to work on what you really want to invest your time, your emotions in. So yeah, this acceptance thing, this to me connects is like surrendering that desire to control card. We have to, the shadow work aspect of this is like letting go of some of those control issues so that we can learn how to accept others and learn how to accept ourselves, and learn how to accept where we are in life and where we need to go. So the next card that came out from this deck is Depth. I love these cards. I think they're pretty.
They are.
Pay closer attention to what is going on around you. Living in the here and now is vital. Negative energies may cause you to stay away from what is truly important and needs your attention. It is time to make peace and to seek calm, particularly with yourself. But do you need to reach out to another? What is in the past has gone, and you are needed right here and right now. Perceptions are heightened, and everyone, including you, will benefit from the space to explore a little deeper and take actions based on a greater understanding of situations. Woodland tobacco indicates coming together in groups, especially ones a little smaller and more private. Making plans, discussions, creating things together while learning are all enhanced by this flower. Be wary of overanalyzing or falling too deep into a potentially negative situation. So the shadow aspect of depth is shallowness. And sometimes we prefer to skate along at the surface of things to avoid going into that deeper perspective to really analyze our environment or ourselves or our own actions or whatever it needs to be. So this is saying that we need to actually kind of not be afraid to go deeper into like what for Twin Flames is that higher, more divine perspective, you know, so that we know more so what to purge. Okay, so all right, so the next one that comes out is Influence. So let me read that one. Spiny Star is the name of the flower. Okay. Forces beyond your control may be currently steering your direction. This isn't necessarily a negative thing, but it can be. You may need to go with the flow for a little while or reflect on how you can protect yourself in future from becoming involved in the first place. Things should also be looking up for you when luck slowly turns your way. New people, new groups, and new situations are on the horizon as well. Travel, experiencing something very different, and general enjoyment are all on offer, but you need to be ready to step up and jump in. Fate will be playing a very large role in your life at the moment, but you are also reminded that nothing lasts forever and influences come and go. This applies to positive and negative outcomes. So this kind of reminds me of what I was talking about for my own experience. I don't know if this was before we started recording or once we started recording, but how I'm sort of seeing the cords that need to be cut. And so like it's about influences versus, I did a reading recently on my channel where I talked about who's influencing you. Is it your 3D mindset and your 3D environment, or is it the divine mindset and the divine environment? That's what this card is about. It's about really not turning a blind eye to those influences and not trying to get in your ego and in your pride and saying, well, no, I only influence myself, blah, 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 by, you know, like burying your head in the sand and not looking at who your influences really are. You know, so this is about sort of like taking aim to look at that. We want to align with the forces. Again, I do think that there will be divine intervention available for all of us throughout the year. We need to align with those forces and have those be our influences rather than the material world and those who would sink us to the ground more, you know? So, and I got 2 more cards on this. These are from the Royo Dark Tarot deck. So the first card that comes out is the Empress. And as a shadow work card, let me see if I can get that closer to the camera so people can see kind of what that is like.
Oh, so, ooh, that's wicked.
Right. And so
that's a white witch right there.
Right. Right. And so that as a shadow work aspect, this is sort of like the negative dark-sided aspect of the divine feminine, and saying this is saying that, you know, to what degree might you be tempted to go into like that more, you know, are you in your divine feminine angelic spectrum, or are you being that witch? You know what I'm saying? So it's like saying it's going back to that control. You know, are you trying to use your divinity to control and manipulate, or are you trying to use your divinity to move greater toward your higher purpose as what God created your life to be, you know? So that's the shadow work. And then this actually answered my question because this is number 15. That this actually is the devil card. So that answered the question that I asked earlier. It's like, I think about the other card, but this is, so check out this one. Let me see if I can get at the right angle to make it more visible.
You see it. You see it. Yeah, right there is good. Yeah. Ooh.
There we go. Okay, so the devil card in your tarot is talking about the restriction. You know, it's talking about what are the ways in which you are being held. In the traditional tarot, the people are by the chains, like
right. That's what I was thinking.
So it's kind of like, in what ways are you allowing this force that is external to yourself to hold you back from being the best that you can be? You know, sometimes the devil is this job. Sometimes the devil is a controlling voice from the family direction or the friends direction or whatever. Where are the devils in your life, and how do you cut those chains so that you can be free and be in your divinity? And it's time to look at that.
Right. Okay. All right. Amen. Okay, so now I did on my end, since I had not bought out my star players, my MVPs, which is usually the romance angel cards. I was like, okay, I can't do a reading without bringing out my MVP, which is, so I took the shadow and I did the shadow aspect, and then I also clarified it by these romance angels things. So we're going to do it with a little twist here. Add a little love to the shadow thing. So now the shadow work that we have to work on right now collectively for some of us, they're doing these are the ones for the whole entire collective, knowing me. This one was the divine feminine, and this one was the divine masculine. Okay, so now.
Divine. Okay, so we had a technical difficulty there, but the recordings are back up and running. So if you'll start with those cards.
Okay, so for the collective, for what we all both have to, divine feminine and divine masculine, we've got to work on this inner child work. As we can see in this card here, the shadow is this here is both of them are reaching for each other, and it seems like once one does one work, it's going to help heal the other one. So that's what is that kind of reach out, what we talked about earlier, drawing that in. This is clarifying once that happens, as far as in the love aspect, because I know that's what we want to know. Well, okay, if I do shadow work, what's that going to change as far as us on this journey into union? So that's going to help us into honeymoon, enjoy the bliss of holiday time together. And what that means is that we won't have this inner child, this conflict, that inner voice is going on by things that happened when we were growing up, some about the family issues. Those things won't act as a thing that will act as something that's going to go against our conflict, that extra energy, as I call it also, from you not being able to deal with what's happening with your inner child. You'll be able to enjoy truly the bliss without having that dialogue like, okay, now when I was a child, you know what happened when mom and daddy did this and all this other kind of stuff. Or those abandonment issues start talking at the same time while you're trying to have union. That thing there, so it'll be like really clear, it'll be smooth sailing. You're heading for a home, or you're heading for that home honeymoon. So that's what's going on with that. So especially you got the moon, you got the illusion, all that, you're dealing with your intuition, your awareness. So that's all going to be playing a part with that. Also, we had another influence is communion, which means is how does this all come together, and how is what we're doing helping us to play a part in the world as well, not just what's happening with us too, but remember we're on our mission and our purpose as well too. So to me, when I see the communion card that's talking about what's my place in the world, okay, so now we have finances and career. Financial issues are a factor in your love life. So we're probably at this point that in the shadow work, you know, my belief is that money is a tangible currency of love, okay. So we got to kind of work on how we look in some of our values and our aspects of how we look at money as well. And then also in our careers, is our careers really supporting what we want to really do in the world? You know, maybe say every time I go wake up in the morning, I won't go to that stupid job. Okay, well, guess what? That might not be your mission and purpose. And if you got a problem with doing that. So, you know, you got to kind of think of, I told you all on my channel to look at this guy that was talking about how now when we're getting into further down the line, as far as us as being twins in our jobs, we're going to find a way that we got to kind of upgrade it a little bit and do our light work within our jobs. And that's going to help us propel and change things in the universe. And so, you know, if you're saying, well, I work at the bank, I really don't see how I can really start, but I've always wanted to be a teacher. Okay, well, maybe you'll find during this year that you'll say, you know what, I'm gonna start looking at some teaching courses. Maybe I can become an educator and leave that working at the bank as a teller alone, because that don't seem like that helps you serve your purpose into the world. You know, not knocking anybody's hustle and flow, because maybe as a teller you could do something as far as that, but at that moment for that person, that might not be their exit home. Okay, that way to go there. Give your relationship a chance. So that means how you relate with others. Okay, that's your shadow work. Some of us are kind of find ourselves kind of closed off from other people. You know, I don't like people. Okay, all right. You know you are a light worker, right? Yeah. So you got to turn that light on, and you got to learn how to interact with other people. I mean, I can be saying, I can understand. I can take a little page from that. Sometimes I'm kind of introverted. You know, it takes me a lot to say, go out there. You know, now I found out who I am into my divinity. I'm sure enough not like I was in 2018 or 2012 when I started this journey. She's two different people. I'm more outgrowing. So, you know, you have to see how you relate to others. So you got to give yourself a relationship a chance. Like my mom used to always say, you know, you meet strangers. You know, you got to kind of get out that habit. Everybody can't be a stranger if you're trying to help out into the world. So you got to find your function of how you can give new relationship, creating new relationships out there in the world as well. Retreat, it's time to disconnect from the world. Us doing all this light working thing, we got to know how to, when we're communing people, guess what? We got to learn how to go click, turn it off. Now turn within myself. And now it's a me time. Now it's time for me to be selfish with myself and my time, because you're always doing that for others. But we got to learn how to retreat and say, okay, that's all right. You know, I mean, it's enough out there. It's like I have to do with my kids today. Like, I want to stay up and recess with you today. I said, no, I want some me time. I don't want to deal with your energies talking to me every minute while I'm on break. So we got to learn how to do that as well. Okay, in communion. And then new love. We got to kind of look and find ways in which we look at our relationships in the world, and how we can create a new love into this. You know, this smelling the roses, seeing the world in a different way. And it's going to help us create a new love for self. It's going to create a new love for how you look at your divine counterpart. And it's going to create a new love of how you look into the world. Okay, so now for the divine feminine, your energy is that your shadow work is you got to work with this abandonment issues, okay? So that means you feeling yourself that you're being left off, maybe with divine masculine, he's done his thing. You say, oh my God, I'm all alone. Especially in divine feminine, we have to kind of really deal with that issue of this abandonment. Maybe it came from, I see a little child here. So that means from your childhood, something about daddy didn't pay attention. He's always off to go to work. Maybe it's something like that. He worked at nights. I don't know who particular divine feminine I'm talking to that I'm channeling this with, but these are some things that you bring it into, going back to this inner child here that we talked about earlier. So that's something that you got to deal with, because you don't want to bring it into the relationship with your divine masculine. You're clinging on to him. Where you going? He's like, I'm off to the world to do what the universe told me to do. Nah, can't you stay with me tonight? Okay, pump the brakes. We got a problem now. Now, you know, I got something I got to do as far as in the world, and you have something to do. You can't be clingy all the time. So that's going to be something that you're going to have to kind of deal with. Again, and this is clarified by pay attention to red flags. That's right. When I say pump the brake, the divine masculine not looking at you saying, okay, now this might not work. Maybe we don't need to be in union right now, because you still kind of clinging on to me and saying, oh my God, you might say, where you going? Don't go. And so that's going to cause a problem. So again, you got to pay attention to the red flags that comes up, especially with this one red flag, which would be the abandonment issues that you're having there. And also, when I see this divine feminine, you're not being true to yourself. You're not being your authentic self. Because every time when I see this card, she's all covered up with adornment, especially intuition and awareness. You're covering up your way in which you kind of really connect with your divine counterpart, and how you connect with the world. You're over selling something else that's not really your true self either, because you're being abandoned, or you're either shielding yourself by having all this extra clothes on. And so, you know, now here it comes again, and now it's the red flags. So you seen the red flags, and your divine counterpart see the guy, and then here comes this thing what propels you to go right back into separation, because the universe has said they're not, or the Unisouls said they're not ready. And then, you know, you got to go back and relearn your lesson, and he does too. Okay, and then the divine master, your thing that you got to do as far as your shadow work is you got to become open. You've got to really, and also this goes twofold. You got to be open with your emotional self and your analytical self, but you also got to be at one with your shadow. To me, when I see this as light and shadow, working your way going into the lightness, it's like you got to become in peace with it, you know, and it's okay. Sometimes, you know, we're not going to be 100% angelic all the time, but it's like when you do fall in your shadow, do you know how to snap yourself back into place and become in peace with that? And so then we have the deception. Now this again could be two ways, since I'm seeing two things here. Is again going back to just like the divine feminine. Some of you all is kind of going back to what Sean's saying. You can on this persona for the world, since I'm seeing the world here, and you're still not being true to your emotions. This is the feminine here. When I see feminine, it represents to your emotions. And you know, your emotions sometimes got to call you out, like, this don't feel right in my heart space about this, but you know, this right now, this is the role I got to play for the world. And your emotions like, nah, I got to kind of touch you on there and tell you, you know, maybe you need to rethink some things. So again, in order for you to have this harmony within yourself and to be open to the world, you've got to be true and authentic. And that's what this year is all about, is becoming very authentic and becoming into your true self. And that is what I got.
You know more about the numerology, right? What is a 3-year to you?
3 year is the coming of an alignment with spirit, soul, and body. So that's when everything all comes together. That's what 3 is. Like the Trinity, just like in the Catholic thing. So that's what the 3 year would mean. Okay.
Yeah, there's also the 3 of the 2 twins and the Unisoul.
Right. That's the 3. I agree. That one. Right. Coming together too. That's the Trinity, or the triangle. The triangle is the sacred geometry to that energy. Also, the wound is almost in that shape as well. Illuminati. The Masons, the Deltas, all that kind of stuff. This got that. So yes.
Was that a Sigma throwing some shade at the Deltas? Was that what that was?
It was.
You know, if I had been born a black woman, I would have been a Delta. You know that, right?
What? Oh, snap. Oh, wait a second. Well, I still love you. You know, that's okay.
They always had the best. They had the best step shows.
Yeah.
That might be a Virginia thing, but the Deltas have always had the best step shows, in my opinion.
So yeah, okay. Yeah, I said Sigmas, but I got you.
That's me. Get down and dirty. So.
Yeah. Okay, so what's our next one?
Oh, the next one's abundance. Yeah.
Oh, snappy wappy. Okay, now let me see. You know, that is one thing. Now I should. No, I want money. I need to kind of get that together. So let's see. Money wise, what is it? Let me see what I want to use. You're going to do that. Let me see what I'm instinctively drawn to use. I don't want to use them. I want to use them. You mentioned it, so I think I'm going to do it with that then. Okay. I didn't bring these out. Clear. Okay. Let's see what's in it collectively. Oh, I got that.
Oh, that one jumped out, huh?
It sure did. Did you see them? They be flipping.
Which one are you doing? The numerology deck?
Yeah, I'm gonna do it for the money for that one. And he came back out again. He's like, woman, I said I want to come out. Yeah, we're going for them. Okay. All righty. I don't have room on my thing. I'm gonna put them over here. I got stacks and stacks of cards. Everything going well. Okay.
Stacks
all right.
on stacks on stacks.
It's stacks and stacks and stacks. Okay, all right then. So for me, for the divine feminine, yeah, that was him. Divine feminine, I have love for abundance. So okay, abundance can come in. Let's talk about it even before we get into that. What would you say your definition of abundance would be? What would we say that would be? Money. It does not always have to be money.
Well, I'm a Taurus, so it's mostly money.
Is money for you?
I said I'm a Taurus, so it's mostly money. But but no, I think no, I know it's an abundance of everything. Like abundance is it's the lack of scarcity mentality. It's a lack of stress mentality. It's like circulating through life without any holdbacks. You know what I'm saying? Like that's really what it is. It's like abundance is like primarily about freedom. You know,
right.
One of the best things about my New Year's Eve is that my friend and I we threw this little small intimate gathering, and the theme was abundance, you know. So like, you know, they say here in the South, we say if you eat a lot of greens on New Year's Eve, it'll be like money for the year. You know? So we made greens, and we just made this big, and my friend was Filipina, so in her culture, you're supposed to have an offering of a cornucopia of fruit for the gods, you know, in order to bring your abundance, you know. So we combined both. We did greens and we did fruit, and we did this big spread of abundance, and we were just symbolizing, and we did hot cocoa at midnight. And so we were just symbolizing abundance through that. But it was really about an abundance of love, about an abundance of friendship, an abundance of celebration, and the material abundance that supports all those things.
Okay, all right then. Yeah, so that would be the same thing. I'm laughing because I'm like, according to Ancestry .com, I got 1% Philippine in me.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, I should have some fruits. No, the only fruits we have with my tradition is we have apples. We always have something apples in that. So I said, okay, now I see where that came from. That might came traditionally down through that and just didn't know it. Okay, so when we're talking about abundance, And then green, so that's every staple of any African American. I think we're gonna have the green, period. So that ain't just that's a southern thing that came up to the northern thing that we didn't kind of clinged on to. So now the abundance. So we're talking about in abundance for the feminine. She needs to work on is the abundance of love. We'll say for the month. I mean for the year 2019. So love in abundance. That's what you should really be just concentrating on with that. I'm trying to see if I could do a clarify, but I'm not. I'll see about that one. And then for the divine masculine, we have spiritual career. So that again goes back to what you're saying, the divine masculine being kind of scared of coming into his divinity. So it goes too far. Your spiritual career is like when I tell the kids, you know, you in school, this is really your job. Your job is to get the grades, and that's how you get paid. So that's the same thing when you're talking about in your divinity. Your job is, what are you doing out into the world that's helping making the world be better for us to change and create this new earth that we're talking about as far as is the divine masculine. So when we talk about spiritual career, that can also be done through your actual career that you have now. So that again goes back to the question about, is this job really helping you fulfill your purpose and your mission in life again? And so when we talk about once you get into that, guess what? That's going to bring you abundance. So that same thing, just like the divine feminine. Once you really truly get into love, that unconditional love, practicing that Christ love, this is what's going to draw into your abundance. This seems like this is blue, so that means you work with that throat chakra, which means you're going to have to communicate it too. That's going to be one way. Either you're going to affirm it, either you're going to speak it into existence, or every time when you talk to somebody, it's going to be the language of love. Okay, so those are the things that you're doing. And for the divine masculine, with you, you have the purple one. So that would mean in your third eye chakra that you're really kind of working on how to be able to visualize, how to take that into also help you through your visualization to manifest, seeing these things coming into focus. And then you got your pink, which is your high heart chakra. So that's really helping you. Got those two things kind of working in flowing. Just really, like I said, get into this career that you really love. Like just like when you see it, it's like, you know, they always say, you know, when it's the career that you want to do is when you can do it and you don't get paid for it. That's when you truly know that you love it. Just like I know I teach dance in the after school and I love it. I mean, I could not get paid for it actually. And so then I was like, you know, that's how I know I love it. Not teaching, nothing. Some days I say, I don't have to get paid. And some days like, I want every last day going down on my money, down to the 22 cents. That's what we're talking about as far as career. So 6 is love, 7 for you, divine masculine, you're going to get this by you doing spiritual completion, and 8, which is harmonizing that love and how you seeing this through your third eye chakra as well, and to be able to see these things happening. So that's how you're going to achieve that there. So we talk about 15, so that still goes down to using your intuition, and your 5, which would be change. And together, funny thing, they come together, which would be 6, which lets me know that it's going to take a little bit, as simplified as it is to get love, guess what? But sometimes the simplest thing is the most difficult thing, just even though it's just one step for you to achieve this. For the divine masculine, you got several steps to kind of get that, because if I think about the 7 and 8 and I add it together, and then I add those 1 and 5 together, and I come up to that again. And so that's another step of the process. But I do end up getting into love. And so they both mirror each other in some form or fashion. Okay. That is my abundance. Yeah,
and before I get into my cards, I'll just add that with the 6 card that came out, the love card, it was like for twin flames, you can only manifest from your unisoul. Like you can only manifest when you're in harmony and when you're in sync with each other energetically. So like that love is a necessity toward, and the same thing with mission, the mission part, you have to be on mission to manifest too. So like that's pretty on target in terms of like just reminding people, because you mentioned a lot of the divine feminines are saying bye, you know, they're kind of like saying see you later, you know. It's okay. Sometimes that has to happen in like the 3D sense, but you know, you have to stay energetically aligned if you want your life to be what you want it to be. You know what I'm saying? So
I like that. That's true. You say deuces in the physical, but you can't say deuces in the spiritual.
Right, right. You can't, and you know, and if you try to, you're just fighting yourself, you know, and you're just sort of like making your own mess. You know what I mean?
Self-sabotage.
So you can do it, but it's not recommended. You know?
No, I recommend it.
Not recommended.
Lord knows. Oh, okay.
So this is cool. This actually tells a really great story, and I'm really into how the cards came out for me. This is 4 cards from the Angels of Abundance deck. So the first one is visualize abundance in all its forms. So that sort of like is what you and I were just talking about. God gave you such great spiritual power that everything you visualize eventually becomes reality. Hold a steady vision of that which is beautiful, healthful, positive, and filled with blessings, and that is what you will experience. So that's about, and have you ever listened to Abraham Hicks?
Yes. Oh, yes.
Yeah, so like, you know, she'll say, even if the only thing you can find to be positive about is how soft your pillow is, you know, focus on that. Like if your pathway to abundance can come from any direction, if you find that, you know, gratitude is the attitude of success, right? So like if you can find something if you can find experiencing abundance in any aspect, you can grow that into experiencing it in every aspect. That's right. That's exactly right. So visualize abundance in all its form. And so like that's getting yourself in the mindset of abundance. Then the next card that comes out is organized for success. So to me, this is all step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. Do not let the word organize intimidate you, as it is simply a way for you to ensure clarity of purpose. Organizing your thoughts, your reports, your living and workspace, and your finances will help you know and plan your next action steps. So first you visualize, then you get organized, and you be laying that firm foundation. The next card that comes out is clean energy food. When you fuel your body with a healthful organic diet, you increase your energy levels and ability to focus. This automatically leads to more efficiency, better ideas, and a higher vibration, which attracts golden opportunities and beneficial relationships. I don't know if you saw my most recent video, but I did one on like a health forecast for 2019 about like physical health.
Yeah, right. We didn't discuss that. I did see that.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I think that's a huge thing. Like clean energy food, like diet is a big thing for twin flames, especially if you're experiencing like the stomach issues, that kind of thing. Like really having a healthy, vibrant diet is, and it's not just that. It's about what do you put into your spirit too, you know? So like it's the clean energy food diet in the physical and in the energetic. So what are you bringing, what energies are you bringing in terms of like your media consumption, your, you know, what environments are you occupying? How are the energies in that, you know? So it's like, you know, bringing in the right stuff. And then the last card that comes out is savings. So that's going back to what we talked about, paycheck to paycheck versus are you actually building something up? You know, as you consistently save for your future is saved. You do your future self a big favor as you consistently set aside present funds. This is a part of your self-care and path to feeling secure as you focus upon your life purpose. So this card is telling us that we're building toward being able to be saving and being able to build an even more solid foundation, or as people in my community like to say, we're securing the bag. You know what I'm saying? You got to get out there and secure the bag. So to me, this is very step by step. You visualize, you organize, you get the right kind of food inside of you, and then you start building savings for a better future.
Right, and that food can go like you said, just to piggyback on that, food for thought as well. What are you, we talked about that earlier, what are you listening to? What are you feeding, your subconscious with? You know, I think about Patricia saying, you know, you take in the world with your eyes, and certain meditations and things that you got to do to clear and transmute some of those things, those energies, you know, that it's okay for you to watch some things, you know, like I talk to you and say, do you see it? Like, no, I don't watch TV too much, you know. It's okay. I've seen one program say it's all right. It depends on the intention of why you're watching it, but you got to watch it and how it feeds your soul or your spirit while you're watching certain things. So that feeding to me speaks to me, that says it kind of speaks volumes, and it goes into various categories, not just even feeding as far as like food, but like you say, spiritual wise, your heart, all those different kind of things that you have in there. And then also, Patricia, I talked to Dave too about that. Like I said, about me and the stomach thing. Sometimes your body, you got to listen to your body. Did any of those, or was that last some other reading? It was talking about your body. Somebody let your body be able to talk, help you to let you know when, because sometimes, you know, your body might even say, nah, I want that sugar. Okay, well, it might be a reason, or they might say, I want fat or a certain something. You know, listen to your body, because probably at that time, your body might need that at that time. So, you know, don't starve yourself, because you don't want to deny it either. But you, in those things, the processes when you're trying to really turn over as far as food, you got to do things that really energetically at that time that you feel you need to do. And your body, just trust your body. Your body will let you know. It's like, no, we need to consume some more water. Why is it doing that? Because maybe it's doing some internal work. You're going into other dimensions. Some of your light body is converting more over. So, you know, you have to kind of pay attention to those things as well. Like you said, we were talking about food. So let your body do the talking. That I would say with that. You know how you feel, because sometimes I can have me a nice soul food dinner and I'm like, oh my God, I wake up, I feel like crap. And sometimes I can wake up and like I have soul food and say, oh, that felt good, I'm energized. Sometimes I can have a vegan meal and I say, okay, today I'm just gonna have this, nothing but vegetables and nothing else. And then it's like, okay, wow, you know, I feel energized today. And other days I can have it, I'm like, oh my God, I feel like crap. I ain't got no energy. I need to eat something. Now I want to go to IHOP, give me some pancakes, tall stack, and all that stuff. So that's something that you have to kind of watch your body too. All right, we moving on to the good thing that everybody want to know. What's on you with the karmic? Karmic association. Remember, karmics can come in all shapes and sizes, person, place, or thing.
Right.
It always have to be a person, or some like to call it the third energy, because that is something that you have to work on. It's not something like this. No, it's a difference between talking about shadow. That's not shadow work. I heard somebody out there say that. No, that's not the same thing. Like I told you all before, Sean has a very good analogy for what the karmic is as far as pollution. And so I'm going to let him kind of go into that a little bit so you can kind of understand, because you hear me reference that also on my channel about what the karmic is and how it's pollution. And that's a funny thing, I seen it on, I meant to tell you about it on somebody's video, and they showed a little diagram. This man used to use pictures, and he was showing it how it was, that energy was like pollution. Enough me talking, let me turn the mic over to you.
So you want me to talk about how I see karma, like what I see it as, or whatever? Yeah, no, I think that it used to be something where it was like kind of like a cycle or like a sequence of lifetimes that you live. But like I think where we are in this generation and at this time, it's like the valve has been closed, as we said, but there's still water coming through the pipes. Like you're the one who said that. Like that's what it is. It's like karma is like, because like from the perspective of like the Unisoul, like we're in purity at that level and we're karma free. So to be reunited with our twins, that's where we have to be. So the karma that we experience between now and then is like pollution, and it's meant to be cleaned up. And it behooves us to use every modality that's available to us to clear out that pollution. So, you know, sometimes we clean it with forgiveness. Sometimes we clean it with body work. Sometimes we clean it with energy work. You know, sometimes we clean it just by communing with our twin and like growing the love energy, you know, that we share. So that's how I see it. It's kind of like something, it's not something to be remaining attached to and thinking, oh, I'm doomed to repeat this cycle.
Gotcha. Okay. What I want to do to clarify these? What do you mean? Wisdom. Or I could do energy. Let me see. Kind of torn in between. What's going on? Yeah, I did look at you. Okay. Okay, this is for everybody. Okay, and this is that. Okay, you can take it first. I want to kind of marinate on a couple of these. How they think that's interesting.
Okay, cool. So I did 2 readings. I got experimental myself with this one.
Okay.
So what I did was I used my Royo Dark Tarot deck to do a sort of like thing of like what's going on in the karmic. I was focusing on a karmic relationship.
Okay.
So we've got the Knight of Wands. This is the divine masculine, and he's riding. There's sort of like a caravan behind him. He's actually kind of like running from something. It looks like he's ahead, and he's got those 3 figures behind pursuing him, but he's still pressing forward. So what's going on with this is that he is kind of he's not the King of Wands, right? He's the Knight of Wands. So he's got a little bit of that manifestation power, but it's not like the full thrust of it, right? Okay. And what he's trying to manifest is this card that comes out next, which is the 10 of Pentacles. So in traditional tarot, this is the money, this is the abundance, but it's also the abundance of like the love and the good life and like your hearth and home, your castle, your area, you know, your garden of abundance, etc. So he's only got the Knight, he's got this little wand here, and he's trying to manifest this abundance, etc., etc. But it's all going to kind of fall flat because it's from what we just said, you have to be in the Unisoul to manifest the full thing. And that's as true for their side as it is for our side.
Okay.
So this falls flat, and the outcome card is 0, is the Fool. So he goes from wanting the 10 to getting the 0. So what's going to happen here is that in the process of this all falling apart, he's going to realize that he needs to be free. And so the Fool card is that desire to be free. You know, in the traditional tarot, it's the guy walking off the cliff with the dog. This is in this deck, it looks a little different. It's that dominatrix lady with her skull, but it's the same kind of principle. He's going to, by being in this trajectory and not having it kind of like work out the way he thought it was going to work out, he's going to go back to say, okay, I'm at square one. This is the energy at which he wants to follow his heart and follow his energetic trajectory. You know, he's going to follow himself. So the other thing that I did is I pulled 2 cards from the Magdalene Oracle to tell divine feminines who are not in a karmic relationship, how should we approach all this? You know, what should we be doing? So we get 2 cards, intimacy and heart and soul. So this intimacy, this is about intimacy with the self and with the unisoul. These cards kind of like go together. So what we need to be doing while the divine masculine is wrapping up his adventure, because that's what this is. The divine masculine is wrapping up his karmic adventure, right? Because this Fool card is back to the 0. You see the number
with your bad self. I like that karmic adventure.
Right. Right. So this is back to 0. You know what I'm saying? Like, because it's kind of like back and the 0 karma. You know, it's like back to the 0, to that energy of newness, that unmanifested. You know, like that thing that is like the self before the self or whatever. So he's going back to 0 there. While he's in there, we need to stay in our light body, we need to stay in our unisoul, and we need to get into that energetic and going back to, I think I put it back up at that nurture card. We need to be present within our unisoul and within our high heart energy, our heart and soul energy, and we need to be utilizing that energetic intimacy with our divine counterpart through the unisoul, through the rainbow bridge, through the light body, however you think of that, in order to help him get back here, get into that energy where he's ready to release into his heart trajectory, you know? So that's how I did mine.
Okay. All right. So for me, the karmic thing, I did the overall energies for this karmic situation. So right now, when we talk about the karmic situation, some of us got the card is in reverse, which is hope, anticipation, bright prospects, and wish. This here, she's looked very questionable as far as in our emotions. That goes on both sides, divine feminine, divine masculine. We are kind of really, when we think about hope, it's a question mark right there with some of us in these karmic situations. I did that by the clarifying thing here, which is some of this is because we got some attachments. We still holding on to these karmic situations, to wearing these falsehoods. We still chained to some things. And however, we got this by a 5, which means numerology means it's got to be a change to this, especially when we talk about these karmic situations. There is a lot of conflict and chaos. This conflict and chaos in the physical, and conflict and chaos is spread to spiritual and the mental. It's like, which way I want to go in this karmic situation. And so that's causing for us to kind of, as far as means of transportation, getting from point A to point B, the destination where we want to go. Some of us is taking some very interesting ways or means of transportation to get there. This is a hodgepodge of a lot of animals. This is getting there, and it's really, that's what's causing conflict. It's like, how we gonna get there? We are there. I don't care how you get there, just get there. So you think about train, the plane, automobile, bicycle. Now hold on, use it for one leg over, you taking the train, and you get off of that, you say, now I'm gonna take the Greyhound bus, now I'm gonna get off of that. Okay, it's like, come on, pick one daggone means of transportation, how you gonna get from point A to point B, and let's get there, especially when we talk about getting at this kind of situation, which has got us kind of spinning. Okay. Next thing, we got healer of the ages. So we got to really kind of practice unconditional love to how we're going to kind of get it. And we got to think about some things that we've done in the past. All the time when I see this healer of the ages means, how did we deal with things in the past and how we bring it into the forefront, as far as these flames and your passion about where you are, what's going to drive you out of these karmic situations, whether it's person, place, or thing. These are some things that you got to kind of look at, those aspects, because we know at the end of the day what we want. We want reconciliation when we talk about this heart thing, when we talk about trying to get with our divine feminine, in our emotional self, bring that spiritual stuff together, as well as in our way we think in the 3D, which is him represented, because he's more in the 3D world and she's more into the etheric world right here. So that means in our thinking, how we think, how we can bring those two things together as far as us being in this karmic situation, which they saying someone from your past is returning. So we want to make sure when we're in reconciliation that we're ready and we're prepared to receive our divine counterpart. We still don't have some strings attached, like they said earlier. We've healed from the things that happened in the past, so we can be able to move forward. We also have some rebellion things that we're dealing with. Some of us got into these kind of situations because we rebellion against some things. We like, nah, I don't want this. We rebellion against the divinity. We take it that way we talked about earlier. And that's what's causing us to rebel. Upstart tumult and revolution. We became a little too damn revolution in our own. This revolution will not be televised. No, it's not being televised, because you don't even know what channel station you're supposed to be on. So this is an issue, especially when we're talking about some of us in this Unisoul journey. We're a little kind of conflicted. We're kind of like a rebel with no cause, and we really don't know what's the cause we really want to stand for as far as in our divinity. We kind of easy, the divine feminine, some of us ready to throw up the deuces. Divine masculine, I don't know what it is. I'm looking at the divine feminine to show me direction, and you already throwing the deuces. Okay, well, so why am I here? So, you know, we start creating our own revolution, and we really don't know what's the destination of it. Going back to the conflict card. Our next thing that we have here, is that what I did to clarify? No, this is my last one. Next one we had there, was clarified by 7th chakra, which is our crown chakra, which is using our intuition and our awareness to really be able to connect with our divine counterpart, help us to really have that connection, know which way are we actually going, you know, where are you in your headspace, although we don't see them and feel them in the physical, but really having that connection with our divine counterpart as far as knowing what is our actual revolution, in which, where's our journey, where are we going. And so that part there is with our crown chakra there, is going to help us open and act up and getting divine information from the divine, letting it flow in and get those things. It's going to help us start off on the right track as far as where we want to go, especially when we talk about that conflict. The next thing is about our soulmate. Again, we've got to kind of really, in these karmic situations, they have kind of gotten us off track as to knowing who is the real, what is that show that's like, would you stand up? Wasn't it a game show back in the day? And they used to say, will the real somebody please stand up? Oh my God, I forgot what the name of that game show was. And they had a lot of people and it's before your time. It's by the people that used to be. And they used to lie, like, you know, they were telling them I'm this and yeah, and they want the real person, and it's like, with the real so-and-so, please stand up. And so, you know, I would stand up, Sean would stand up, and then at the end, the real person like, that's the person. That's the same thing is we're right now with these kind of situations, got us so much staying in the wind. We can't tell out who's the real soulmate that we want to really be linked in for life in these situations. And so this is going to help us going through this journey, and with these karmic situations, it's going to help us to be able to really identify who is the true soulmate or the true twin or whoever that we need to be with. And that's why those situations come out. Or telling you also, these karmic situations tell you where you need to be divinely as far as on your path. Some of us are going to have to find that we're going to have to let our friends. Now, our friends can come in several ways. We can have like friends like I got Sean and tell me, okay, now stay on track. You know, you want this. Do you really want to get in a soulmate partnership? There's a karmic soulmate, but that's not your daddy twin. Like, yeah, you know what? You might be right. You know, I need to stick with so-and-so. They're like, yeah, okay, I'm glad I talked out. You know what? You talked me off from walking off that into that cliff of that pier and doing something real stupefied. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm in my moment of weakness. I don't want to deal with this daggone twin nothing. Don't say twin nothing. Don't say Twix. Don't say nothing with the twirl in it. So that's why it is in there. So you find friends that do it. And then the friends can also be energetically, when we talk about like angels, guides, those things, you might find yourself helping you to know what's the right thing for you in these karmic situations. Okay, now for the divine feminine, specifically for you, enlightenment. When you are in these karmic situations, the reason why you're in this karmic situation is for you to get enlightenment. Okay, that is your main objective. Inspiration, epiphany, and innovation. So again, you might be in a karmic partnership or a karmic situation. You're like, you know what, this ain't for me. This, something within me is telling me this is not divinity. This ain't gonna get me on no path or no divine nothing anytime soon. So that's what that's for. And then because this will really get you to really be thinking when you're in these karmic situations, you know, analytically. We're good divine feminists in the emotions. We got that on lock. But we should be able to really think in the analytical and bring those two pieces together and say, okay, let's really think smart about this. You know, like I always say on my thing, CBT, think it out, talk to yourself, cognitive behavioral therapy. Like, you know, why am I doing this? Why am I thinking this way? If you don't have that good friend, like I asked Sean to say, okay, now snap out of it, slap, and come on back into the fold about where you belong. This sounds real stupid the way you think. So that's the way you would have that for your thinking, man. Also, this is going to help you to get a leg up on things, okay? So, you know, with that new way of thinking, this innovation, this inspiration, this epiphany, thinking outside the box, this in this karmic situation is also going to give you a leg up to step into your divinity as well. We have poise. You need to become more confident. And this is why these karmic situations come to you, divine feminine, is for you to find confidence and this freedom here, putting your own self on a pedestal. Nobody, you don't see a divine masculine hoist her up there and put her up there. She looked like she did this to her own self. So to make sure that everything, all the stars are aligned. And so when you go through things in life, that you won't let anything, as my kids say, get you off that square. This is all this pedestal, but you don't want nobody to come along and say, bloop, knock her right on off of that sucker. You want you to be able to stay right there, centered, and lighthearted, looking like she's really ready to dance, and just really flowing with whatever comes to her in life. Next thing is between worlds. Also with this, here we go to Pleasantville, helping you see from things in these karmic situations come along to help you see from the darkness into the technicolor. Okay, so where you are now in this karmic situation, the ending result would be is for you to see everything now in color. Things are getting better. Things are being divinely orchestrated so that you're seeing things that how they used to be and how they should be. Okay, I'm trying to whiz through this. And so your yang. So this also, again, to me, I'm really feeling that you got to kind of really get into, when you're in these karmic situations, really thinking about things in analytical. Just like my divine masculine, they told me one day I was getting all hogwashed about a situation. He's like, you know what? You're going to have to start taking the emotion out of things and start looking at things for where they are and don't stress. And that's the same thing that it is about this. It's like you got to kind of look at things without the emotions in it, and really kind of look, I call it live your pulpit, and really see where are things actually, not the way your emotion is painting it to be, just like this card here. Your emotions painted to look like this, and in actuality, it's probably looking like this, okay? Next thing, so we gotta let go of control issues. This is at the end of the day, divine feminine. When you go through this karmic situation, this is at the end of the road. You should be ending up letting go of control issues, and you should be really without certainty, knowing who your soulmate is. Okay, so yes, this is my soulmate. So it shouldn't be no question anymore. No between the sitting on the fence. In between, at the end of the day, when you're in this karmic situation, you should be able to know who your twin is, and without certain and doubt. For the divine masculine, you have monster within, internal struggle, personal challenges, wanting to improve. So this is what you're dealing with in these karmic situations. This is going to help you to bring this out into the forefront, which is you having a lot of internal struggle. Some of you all, my divine masculine, pretty much preferred himself early in the journey as the beast. I used to call myself the beauty and the beast, because he was in some uglified, hellified stuff, physical and spiritual. And I used to say, I'm the beautiful one. I have a beautiful soul, and I'm beautiful inside and out. And you just, so that's the same thing with this. He's dealing with, in these common situations, how to really bring out that the kid let in the story, that beast die so he can give way into that divine, the prince that's within him, which is to be the divinity. So you have an internal struggle while you're with this karmic situation, and this is what's helping you to deal with these personal challenges and for you to be a conqueror of it. Blossom into abundance. Again, like I said, once you get into divinity, all these things, like what we say abundance is, it's going to become a blossom into your life world affairs. But you got to get this under handle, and that's why this karmic situation came along, to help you deal with that. And then you're going to come to the point in this karmic situation, just like Sean said, it's time to go. It's time for you to hit the deuces to the karmic situation, whether it's person, place, or thing, emotionally, because you've been pretty much into your thinking, analytical self, but you're going to keep on walking, even though you can't see where it's ending up, though, but you know the ending of it is a doorway out of the situation. There's a doorway of opportunity, a doorway of value, like some of the cards say, for you to walk, and you see the stars are all aligned and leading the path and telling you where you're going. You're leaving a trail of stars. So even behind you, through your past, the things that you have learned, the story of the going through the karmic situation, the struggle, to everything, is still going to leave a trailblaze of stars behind it, because it's something, even in every story or every situation that you have in challenge, there's always something beautiful for you to still learn from that. Okay, and then we have calling your soulmate in. So with this, at the end of the day, you should be calling your soulmate in, because you definitely, just like the divine feminine, know exactly who that is. Now, the soulmate, again, to me, could be two ways. You call it in yourself and say, come on, let's be whole. Let me bring my divine masculine self and my divine feminine self together and create that merge into that wholeness. So that's the end of the day. That's what you should be doing. No more struggling. And then flirt, extend your lighthearted energy to others. And that doesn't mean just to flirt with the divine feminine, but it also means flirt with, be lighthearted with everybody. Remember, again, it's not just about what's going on with you and your divine feminine. It's about also how you affect the world. So that means raising up your vibration and your energy, and how you can spread that out into the world as well. So that's what that's about. And then at the end of the day, you too, when you come out of this situation with the karmic situation, you should know who your true love is as well. And so this is the romance of a lifetime. This is your prize. It's like, this Price is Right, and they name it, and then they pull back the curtains, and they're like, there's your prize, your divine feminine and your divine counterpart right there, and you knowing that this is truly a love of a lifetime. So that is that for the karmic situation for me. That's what that was a lot. That's what they had said there. So last thing we're gonna wrap it up would be is, what does the divine feminine, not the divine masculine, want to say to the divine feminine, and what does the divine feminine want to say to the divine masculine? Because we always know, after all this in this karmic situation and all we've been through, what do we learn? What do they want to say? Clear? He is there. Yeah, but no, I didn't bring him out. Thank God. Thank you, Jesus. Yeah, I didn't bring that up. I didn't even talk to him either. Okay, what does the divine masculine say to the divine feminine? These my favorites coming up. That's it clear? Clear. Divine masculine. You want to say divine feminine in 2019? Oh, wow. These cards are awesome. What is the divine feminine? One say the divine masculine. Okay, that's a good, that's a no. That's a book. I'm not reading that. That's too many. Divine feminine, you see to divine masculine. I swear, some of these divine feminists don't want to say nothing to these divine masculines. Give it up. That was yesterday's reading. You know, I don't want to say nothing to him. I said, now, that's not right, divine feminine. Okay, now she's speaking a lot. She did. She's like, I don't want to talk to him. I was like, you got to say something to him. You got to give some encouragement. As a ready.
Okay, you want to start?
Okay, so with the divine masculine, what the divine masculine wants to say to the divine feminine is be supportive. Make a genuine effort to show you care. So doing all what's going on through this is beautiful.
Yeah, that is. What is that? Whispers of Love deck?
Yeah, yeah. And so with this, he's saying that, you know, no matter what's going on, and you see that, like I said, say something, divine feminine. She's like, I ain't saying nothing. So you've got to be supportive of your divine masculine. And even if you have thrown out the deuces to them, like we go back in full circle, like at the beginning, still energetically, you can send that out. Because remember, again, I think Shauna said that too in the reading earlier. Remember, they're part of you. This is not like he's part somebody else, he's orange and I'm an apple and we ain't the same. No, we both oranges, both apples. So make sure that you are being supportive of him during his journey while you sending energetic love to him, or just saying things of encouragement. If you are communicating with your divine masculine, keep those things in mind. And so the divine feminine, she did talk and she talked a lot. So the divine feminine saying the same thing just like the other day. She said, new love, embrace this new opportunity of love that is here. This may pertain to work opportunities and spiritual growth. So the divine feminine is saying to the divine masculine, like I said on yesterday, find new love in everything that you do, rather that is in the career and the job, loving yourself. Just find a newness in everything that's out there pertaining to, and that's going to help you to grow. So either you're throwing out love, like this person right here is throwing out, or you're receiving love as well. So keep those things in mind, that and then also in pertaining to us, of how you look at us is in love too. Look at it through new eyes and fresh eyes, not out of the mistakes that you have made, things that you think you harmed and hurt me in the process. So look at it in that way. And the heart of the matter, there is more going on than meets the eye. Recognize what this is all about. So some of you are divine masculine, you're looking at it through the 3D eyes, and she's telling you to open up your eyes and see really the magic of it. We talked about that earlier, seeing what things are really conspiring, how the universe is kind of getting things together for this to be this true love, or this soulmate, like we were saying at some of the end of the karmic readings there. So look and remember that it's more than meets the eye. And just remember that at all times, no matter even how you having difficulties with the karmic situations, or things are looking like they're not turning out your way, just remember at all times that there's more to it, more to the heart of the matter. There's more things going on. And then spend some quality time together. It is imperative that we spend quality time with those we are in significant relationships with, listening and talking to each other. So remember, oh, this is cute. Look at the little fairies. Ain't they cute? So right there with the moon, seems like this moon energy too. So a lot of those things happening. It looks like it's going to help those little influences, going to help it to grow closer and closer to each other as well. And so that's going to work in our favor. And it's pretty much saying that spend some quality time together. That means even with everything that you're doing, even if you think about me and we're not communication with your heart, you're sending me love, or if we in the physical, you spending time, just find moments that you can commune and connect with me. And remember, at the end result, our thing is for us to come together. And that's what she's sending to him.
Okay. That's good.
That's good. Yep, that is it. So that's what she wants to say. That's the overall thing. So, all right. So that ends our thing. I know this is long, so you all are going to have.
Oh, I got mine though.
What's
that? I didn't do mine.
Okay, I'm sorry. That's why you say you like that. Yeah, I'm like, huh? Okay.
No, I was asking you. Is that, is that?
That's it for me. That's it. That's all I got for me. That's all. I didn't do no further thing. Sorry. I think you.
No, you're okay.
You're okay. Okay.
Yeah, I know. Okay, so I'll start with what the Divine Masculine has to say to the Divine Feminine. First card that came out was Base Chakra, also known as Root Chakra. So this is the thing that sometimes when you and I have private conversations, we talk about, like, the Divine Feminine sometimes has to touch the ground, you know what I mean? So it's about getting into that thing. The Base Chakra is about sort of like processing and releasing fears. And it's about sort of like touching the ground and like rearranging things and making sure that everything on the ground level in terms of like the basics is secured and like applies and that kind of thing. So then he says, be not afraid, only believe. So he's saying, don't fear, don't fear whatever you're looking at on the surface or whatever. It's your action, your decision to believe us in the right direction that's going to get us there. So don't be afraid of anything. Okay. And then signs from heaven. Thank you, heaven, for sending me reminders of your presence. So what the Divine Masculine is saying is that you, the Divine Feminine, you're the one who's more connected to heaven. You're the one who's able to get these signs from heaven. And sometimes I think, it's really the Unisouls leading both of you, but sometimes it's more so the Divine Feminine who leads or sets the pace in terms of like love and reunification. So the Divine Masculine is saying you can get the signs from heaven and lead us in the right direction. So he's encouraging you to do so.
Okay.
So, and then for the Divine Feminine's message to the Divine Masculine, first one that comes out is seek the truth. So she's saying you're stuck in all this quagmire of like delusion or trying to conform to the 3D or whatever.
Right.
You need to be seeking the truth. In the picture there, it's a female that's like splitting the mind open and bringing the light in. Male figures there. So, so seek the truth. Yeah, seek the light of divine truth and stop living in the delusions. And the next card that comes out is Mythic Reality from the Magdalene deck. And so that's the Rainbow Bridge. This is kind of like similar to that Pleasantville card. It's the Divine Feminine is saying there's so much more to life than what you're trying to live. There's so much more that we can create together. We can create this mythic reality together. And the Divine Feminine is beckoning to the masculine to come and be a part of that mythic reality with her. And then the last card that comes out is Leap of Faith. So I'm ready to take a leap, angels. Thank you for doing it with me. The Divine Feminine is saying it's time for you to take your leap of faith. It's time for you to go from the familiar to the unfamiliar, from the known to the unknown, from the comfortable to the evolving and sometimes uncomfortable. It's about saying, get out of that comfort zone and take that leap of faith. Come join us in the mythic reality and stop just being in the comfort zone of what you are used to and what you've been creating. It's time for you to create something better here alongside me.
Amen. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Well, come on over. What is that song we came for? Oh, the Cal. No, that wasn't that. No, much. I can say. Now, welcome to the dark side, but welcome to the light side. Doing that stuff. Okay, so is that all that we covered on our list?
That's the whole list. I think we worked through it.
That is wonderful. So I hope that you all enjoyed this thing. This is, again, you're gonna have to get your popcorn, your vino, your whatever your favorite drink, and kind of maybe take this in parts. I understand this is a lot to process, but I think we gave a really good overall viewing as to what 2019 is going to bring to us as a collective in the Unisoul journey. So for me, that is pretty much, like I said, we covered a lot of territory, a lot of territory. So I would use this almost would be my guidebook. If not, then I probably would pull this video and kind of say, okay, didn't I hear something about that before? Because if you tune into this some kind of way energetically, there is some resonance to what's going on into your soul, into your spirit, and give you some kind of insight into your journey as well. Any last parting gifts that you would like to say, Sean, on your end for Exotropic, Esoterica?
Well, I think there's a lot to look forward to in 2019.
Yes,
I think
that's very promising. Some of them, when I was reading, I said, am I doing a private reading, Sean? That's what that business. I said, okay, wait a second. I hear some stuff. So it's a little bit of everybody in this reading. I heard myself too when you was reading. I said, okay, he's getting a little too deep on it. Okay, I hear me in there somewhere. Okay, pull up. I don't want them to know what's going on, but I heard you in there. So it's really some good stuff. If you don't really tune into this and take this underneath your wing, you're really sorely missing out on a blessing, a real true gift into this. Really are.
And it's going to be a good year. It's going to be a good year for the Unisoul Collective.
It is. And like I said in my thing, it's an incubator of energy. It's like really, if you could just go ahead and just hang on in there, keep your vibes high, which we know is easier said than done sometimes. But it looks like really the universe, like you said, some of we're going to experience some divine intervention. The universe is really behind. It's got our back. That's why I said our union team is really, really, really working hard behind the scenes. Like I said about this, you talking and you look around and you say, "Oh my God, there go union behind me. I didn't know that." And your divine master is standing there with the roses and saying, "I'm just waiting for you to turn around. I've been here all along." So they're really working hard for this to really happen. For many of us that have done the work for it to happen in 2019. They really are. I feel that very much so.
I'll take that.
You take that, I'll take that. I know some of our viewers will take that as well. Are you doing anything special? We wrapping up. We kind of, this our shameless plug time. So what's happening with you as far as with your channel? Any kind of specials, anything you're doing? As far as to get viewers and whatever. Of course, we want you to like, subscribe, and share with your friends.
So well, you can email me at exotropic.esoterica@gmail.com if you'd like a personal reading. I do think I'll be launching my website by the end of the week. So
okay, at the end of the week. Yay!
Yeah.
Wonderful. Okay, all right, great. Don't ask me when I'm launching mine. I'll get to it. But right now, you can, if you want a personal reading with me, you can go to www.divinetwin11@gmail.com. You could do that. I'm doing a special since this is going to be January 31st will be my anniversary, 1 year anniversary of having this channel. And I just, as a way of saying thank you, I'm just giving out 30-minute $11 readings. So if you're interested in doing that, come get it, especially when we have these energies, either one of us can really kind of guide you as to what things that you might need to work on as far as your shadow work, things that we talked about. If you like that system that we use, either one of us can use it and say, okay, let's look into that, those things, those categories to help you become better and get into union as well. Definitely, I know with Sean, his thing is mentoring. I haven't worked into that yet. And so, but he does very great with mentoring, because sometimes he mentors me on the slide until I get little freebies. Yes. And so I'm like,
we mentor each other. We keep each other motivated.
That is true.
That's what it is.
Yeah. So, but I can tell he's very, very, very good, because some things, he'll he'll say something and he'll walk around and be that inner coach and dialogue, like, okay, don't do this, don't do that. So I would say definitely for that, when he launches into that, if you feel spirit led, most definitely look into that that aspect of his business as well. And he's doing things even in the world that doesn't have to even do with that, because you want your things to do entrepreneurship with business, right?
Yeah, that'll be my second platform that I'm going to launch around June. Yeah.
Okay, around June. So yeah, so you see, he's really what we talk about, mission and purpose, and actually getting out there and doing it. And I'm doing so many things on the other end, but that's what it's all about. And remember, again, in all that you're doing, learn how to what? R-E-S-T. Rest. Nothing else. You got to protect your body. Oh, it's one thing I know you said. Can you explain to them, in case they don't know, you spoke of something about your angelic body. I think you had said about that. It was one of those bodies you spoke of. And I said some of them might not know what that body is, especially if they're coming on this journey for the first time. Can you talk just real briefly about what are some of the bodies?
You're talking about the angelic light body?
Yeah, that's what you said, the angelic light body. Can you explain that to him? Because Spirit told me, they say they're not going to know what he's talking about. Just to find that real quick, and we're out of here.
Oh, okay. Well, some people are getting, whenever people are getting downloads, like the downloads and the upgrades, it's about, because what we're really here to do on the planet is to make it new, in terms of like we're making a new level of experience, a new level of experience for mankind. And so like this, the angelic light body, it's like, it's you, it's your higher self. And it's integrating with the physical body here in this plane. And it's kind of like an upgrade in that it protects you in ways that previously have not been able to be protected. So like, you have more shielding from negative energetic influences. You'll have more capabilities as people begin to evolve and learn about the light body. They'll be able to do more traveling, but not traveling in the way that people used to travel, to the astral plane, which eventually got really sort of overrun and taken over by negative entities, but more like being able to travel like to source and being able to explore your past lives and explore your parallel lives and be able to really see everything in terms of like the cosmos that have been there. So the new angelic light body is about, it's kind of like an upgrade, and like the light body is what you will leave here with, like when this lifetime is over, you'll still get to have this light body, and you'll get to go on with your twin flame as one being, of course. And do more things through that. Some twins will reincarnate after this lifetime, and some will not. Many will not. You're not planning to come back, huh? Yeah, me either. I'm pretty much done. We're pretty much done after this one. So some twins out there will reincarnate. If you reincarnate, you'll still have your light body for that lifetime. But most of us will just kind of like get into this new vehicle and go right on out into the cosmic sunset.
Yeah, no, it's it. I'm an old soul. I can feel every lifetime. I done did this thing for quite a while, and I'm ready to go on the other side and be a coach on the other side.
There you go.
No, this is it.
Time to retire.
They got to convince me of something. I already know it within my soul. I done lived 1,000 lifetimes already. This is
We're on the same page.
Yeah, well, this is it. This been a lovely ride. This give me my prize, my divine counterpart, and we sell and we out of here. I'll be saying, I done did the daggone thing. Drop the mic.
That's it.
And I'm out. And on that note, I think that's a good thing to end on. We didn't drop the mic, we didn't drop the cards, and we out. Until next time, I'll say stay motivated, stay elevated, stay ascended. Namaste, Namago.
I'm Sean. I'm here to remind you to be yourself and beyond.
That's it. Mwah.
Mwah, mwah.
The end.
The end.